I'm going to call our meeting to order at 9:03. This is our regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors for Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. And we're going to start out with moments of silence. Supervisor Crandall will start.
Yes, I wanted to start out with a moment of silence for Monty Winters out of Spring Valley. Monty Winters was on the East Region Town Hall and also the CSA number 2 out in Spring Valley. And I know he played an instrumental role in search and rescue as well. Very, very instrumental in working on the lake recovery project and anything that had to do with Spring Valley. Very smart gentleman, and so we give our condolences to his family and to the area in Spring Valley as well.
Thank you. And the first one I have is for Joshua Sumter. He's the son of longtime Lake County sports writer Brian Sumter. He lost his battle with cancer early last Friday morning. He was 33. He was a 2010 graduate of Hillsburg High School, and he earned his bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees from UC Davis. He taught calculus at the University of Rochester in New York. One of the things he enjoyed about Lake County was golfing at Adams Springs Golf Course up in Cobb. He is survived by his wife, Erica, his mom, Sean, dad, Brian, Uncle Gary, many cousins, tons of friends, and all of his wife, Erica's relatives who loved him very much. He is predeceased by his sister, Sarah, Uncle Dave, and grandparents. The next one is for Virginia Hamlin. She was a Kelseyville High School math teacher who also passed away recently after a courageous battle with cancer. Virginia was a dedicated member of the Kelseyville High School community. She served the district for 6 years. She was committed to her students and her craft, showing up for both of those with integrity and dedication. She will be missed by her colleagues and the many students at the school as well as family members. Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated for a moment. Before we do the Pledge of Allegiance today, I want to make an announcement. We're going to do something a little different. I have Maury and Bella Bua, some kids from our community. Maury will lead us in the pledge, and then subsequent to that, Bella is going to sing the national anthem. It's Military Appreciation Month, and we're coming into the summer, so I wanted to have that added into the meeting today. A little bit about the kids. Maury is an 11-year-old student at Lakeview Charter School. He recently won first place in regional spelling competition, outperforming hundreds of students from across Northern California. He is recognized for his advanced work in astronomy and astrophotography, is involved with the Friends of Taylor Observatory, and will be working alongside the Lake County Office of Education on upcoming educational initiatives. Bella is an 8-year-old student also at Lakeview Charter School. She is an accomplished young performer who has won a national competition throughout school and has trained with Grammy-nominated artist Audrey Nunez. As a second-grade student, Bella was awarded for testing at 5th grade reading level and has performed at events throughout Lake and Mendocino County, including the Lakeport Memorial Day Parade, the Lakeport 4th of July Boat Parade, and opening for multiple events at Canocti Harbor. So at this point, I'll have Maury come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I think I just... I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Test, test. Thank you, your beautiful audience.
Thank you for that, and thank you, Maury and Bella, for being here with us today. And we're going to move on to our next item. Do we have any extra items not appearing on the agenda?
No, we do not, Chair.
Thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda. And I have understanding that we're going to pull item 5.10 for a later date. And we're going to pull 5.18 for discussion at a later time today. Do we have any supervisors who wish to pull additional items? Not hearing anybody, do we have any members of the public in the room who wish for us to pull any items from consent for discussion later? Not seeing any online? Sterling, are you wishing to request that we pull an item for today? What's that? Sam, we need to make Johanna a co-host. So Sterling, if you're requesting to pull an item, please state the item number.
Yes, 5.15, please.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda as proposed with the exception of 5.10, 5.15, and 5.18.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 4-0. Now we're going to move on to our 9:02 timed items for public input. And today I'm going to start online. Do we have any members of the public online who wish to speak about any items not on our posted agenda today? Hillary Mosier, if you state your name for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Hillary Mosier. I'm the regional manager for the Golden State Manufactured Homeowners League. I'm talking to you this morning from Humboldt County. And today I want to go over the process of getting the item of placing a temporary fee increase moratorium for mobile home parks on your agenda. We've all heard repeatedly about how predatory park owners are forcing increased fees on low-income vulnerable constituents throughout the county in reaction to the board forming an ad hoc RSO committee. We know these park residents have been suffering these unfair increases since at least March. But what we don't know is why not one of you will place this issue on the agenda. according to the city's own website, the process is simple. Any one of you can submit a request to the administrative office by 5 p.m. on the Wednesday, 2 weeks before a meeting. That's it. Why won't one of you come forward to take necessary action? It's very hard to believe that there has not been some sort of agreement among you to ignore this growing disaster, and yet to do so would be a violation of the Brown Act. But to sit there week after week, month after month, ignoring the pleas of voters, elderly and disabled, just is so callous and really irresponsible that it defies belief. I've spoken individually to almost all of you, and you have each seemed to be caring, intelligent, and compassionate people. Was that all an act? The fact is, under your own housing inventory, you are required to preserve affordable housing. It's not an option, it's a state requirement. Please do your due diligence and place this issue on the agenda tomorrow. Please enact a temporary retroactive fee increase moratorium in mobile home parks to stop the erosion of affordability, as you are sworn to do. If the little city of Fortuna, California can do it, so can you. Thank you.
Thank you, Hillary. Do we have anyone else online? Maya Lynn, if you could state your name for the record, you'll have 3 minutes.
My name is Maya Lynn. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Maya.
Hey, I'm here to speak to you again for myself and for those who are unable to speak to you due to health reasons, feeling that it's useless because they won't be heard, and those who keep asking me why I keep trying. We've been asking the same thing for 7 months, an RSO, a moratorium on mobile home park fee increases retroactive from the beginning of 2026 until an RSO is finally adopted. With your continued silence, we are feeling unheard and unseen, and it feels as though there's a total lack of transparency in what this board is actually doing. For over half a year, we have followed the rules. We've asked, yet our housing security remains in limbo and keeps increasing. We understand the Lake County rules of procedure, and any one of you has the authority to work with the clerk of the board to put this on the agenda. As Hillary just stated, the process is clear. A supervisor makes the request to the Board of Supervisors office. The staff prepares the report to give the public the transparency we are currently lacking. The item is posted to the Agenda Center in 72 hours in advance. Because of your 7-month delay, this has now become an urgent matter of immediate importance. If you're concerned about deadlines, remember that you have the legal right to add this as an urgent item to an already posted agenda with a 2/3 vote. We would like to know who on this board is opposed to doing this. Be transparent, whoever you are, and put your cards on the table for us. We're done waiting in the shadows. We're asking today, who among you will finally show us the transparency we deserve and put this moratorium item on the agenda? We need to be seen, we need to be heard, we need action before July 2026. We started paying $60 extra a month in May, on top of our 6% increase it received in October, average of extra $100 a month now. By the time you make a decision in July, 75 households will have paid the greedy nonprofit Caritas Corporation an extra $300. We have 5 mobile homes for sale in our park, the highest number ever. 3 more going on the market. People are driving by and they're going, oh, but no, nobody wants to buy out there in that environment. Our investments are declining as their profits are rising. We have people who've gone into assisted living, passed away, moved in with families, and have become disenchanted. Some people have taken on roommates in order to remain in their homes. Sad that a senior has to take on a roommate. What if your parents, grandparents, or even you were living in this situation? What would you do? Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Do we have anyone else online? Sterling? You'll have 3 minutes. State your name for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Sterling. I first want to say thank you to all service members, also EJ, because he's a service member. But I'm going to kind of turn this a little bit to a disease that is in our county that a lot of people don't know about or talk about. It is Lyme disease. It is a major thing in our county. It's a major thing in the nation, let alone the world. I did email you guys. I hope you guys did get the email, read it a little bit, maybe look into that documentary. It's called A Quiet Epidemic. I suffer from chronic Lyme. I know about 5 other people in this county that suffer from chronic Lyme. The medical world does not look at us normal. They tell us that we are not normal, that it's in our heads. My Lyme has moved on to a neurological Lyme now. I have seizures, tics, I pass out, I can't do normal stuff anymore. So I'm just wondering if this board can do a proclamation or whatever you call and do an awareness for Lyme disease. We need to warn people about Lyme's disease. We need to put signs at trailheads. People, they hike all over this place. We live in the wilderness. It is a crippling disease and it can change your life. It can kill you in a sense. It attacks your heart. Every orifice of your body can attack. It is called the great imitator because it imitates every autoimmune disease out there. So a lot of people are being misdiagnosed when they have Lyme's disease and they are suffering from it. So I'm just hoping that you guys can hear this and understand how dangerous this disease is, and it is in our county. And our government is literally coming out with another Lyme disease vaccination because within the last year, 450 people have been diagnosed with a disease from the Lone Star tick called alpha gala, which makes you, for the rest of your life, allergic to red meat or dairy. So I really hope that you guys hear this and maybe we can do something about that and start preventing it or letting people know. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sterling. Anyone else online? Hang on, we haven't finished online.
Chair?
Yes.
Just a brief comment. I just wanted to make sure that Sterling was aware. I have not received an email from her regarding this. The last email I got from her was in February.
And I just checked. I don't have one today.
Just want to make sure she was
did
aware.
email me.
Okay.
It might be that I've
might
had
have, yeah.
people try to email me and they didn't come through.
Okay. Hopefully Sterling heard that. Not necessarily all of us received it.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else online? What's that? David, if you state your name for the record, you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is David Barry. I am a senior citizen. I live in a home that I own that is in a mobile home park where I pay for the space that my home sits on. And this morning, I'm asking all of you to picture something that I hope you personally are never going to have to be familiar with, and that's surviving on the economic edge. And that's where you get just enough money each month to survive on. Maybe your Social Security retirement, maybe your paycheck for a 40-hour week at a minimum wage job. Maybe it's your disability check. And then your mobile home park owner in the park where you rent your home and it sits on the rented land, making you a captive consumer, that park owner sends you a notice to pay $60 a month more for operational expenses that he's already paid out of the rents that he's been collecting for the past 4 years. Now, what do? Now, that's an extra $720 a year. Where's that going to come from? Do you stop the copay for your medications? Maybe stop buying fresh produce and nutritious food and protein at the market? Maybe you have to cancel your homeowner's insurance or your car insurance. I know you've all been told this before, but I'm saying it this time, and I'll go over it slowly and clearly. You, as an elected representative decision-making body, have the power and the responsibility to prevent these predatory fees. You are, in fact, the only ones who can do it. The same thing is true for the poor folks in that park in Upper Lake, where they have a $350 a month increase hanging over their heads like a guillotine. That's an extra $4,200 a year. That would force old folks into living on your streets. They're being preyed upon by a multimillionaire. And yet each time we come and plead with you to take immediate action, you do nothing. Your constituents are suffering financially and emotionally, living in constant fear, and your response has been silence. But you have the power to place this issue on your agenda. Any one of you has that power. Make a motion to enact a temporary rent increase moratorium retroactive to January while you finalize your RSO. It's been done by other municipal governments, and you can do it too. Preserve this important source of affordable housing. Protect vulnerable citizens and seniors and all those who elected you. You do it, you'll be celebrated as heroes, and you'll be creating a lasting legacy. Please don't delay on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else online? Cassandra, if you could state your full name for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, board. This is Cassandra Holbert on Robin Lane, and I'm here again. And at this point, this isn't just frustrating, it's disturbing. It's been 114 days since the Robin Lane sewage spill disaster, 114 days since our water was impacted, 114 days of this board being told over and over and over again what people are going through. Families are still paying hundreds of dollars every month, some $600 to $800 every month just to have access to water they feel safe using. This isn't a temporary inconvenience. This is sustained burden caused by a failure in maintenance, infrastructure, and leadership. 114 days, and people are still living like this. And what has the response been? You've now approved roughly $2 million. $2 million. And yet the people living with this every single day still don't have clear answers, timelines, clear accounting of how that money is actually being used to fix the problem. So where's the transparency? Where's the urgency? Where's the plan that actually matches the scale of what this community is dealing with? Because after 114 days, we should not be asking these same questions. Week after week, we come here. Week after week, we hear routine business carried out with more energy than is given to the people living through this. And Brad, I'm going to say this directly. It's incredibly hard to sit here and watch you bring more enthusiasm to announcing Pet of the Week than to showing visible compassion for the residents that are standing in front of you asking for help. That contrast isn't subtle, and it's not okay. It makes people feel unseen. It makes people feel dismissed. And after 114 days, it's making it very hard to believe that this situation is being treated with the seriousness that it deserves. At this point, I've lost trust. I've lost confidence, and I've lost faith that this leadership is prioritizing the people most affected by this disaster. And this is not about water anymore. This is about whether this board understands the weight of what happened to this community and what's happening in various other parts of the community, and whether you're willing to meet that weight with real leadership. Because after 114 days from where we're standing, it doesn't feel like you are. People are exhausted. They're paying for something they did not cause, and we're still being asked to be patient. But patience without progress after 114 days is not leadership, it's neglect. And this community deserves better. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else online? Guest, if you could state your name for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Angela Emerald. I just wanted to say that last week, the D3 MAC Alliance held their first collaborative meeting. I want to thank Supervisor Crandall, county representatives, and all the residents that attended. There was a lot of good discussions and information provided, such as updates on dumping, rent stabilization, Lake Pillsbury, and just to touch on hearing the comments on the rent stabilization, I just want to note that at the D3 MAC Alliance meeting, Supervisor Crandall did give an update that it is with county council right now, and that the government agencies, it sounds like you guys are talking about cities versus a county, and that they've been working on this for quite some time to bring it forward. I just encourage everyone to watch the replay of PEG TV of the D3 MAC Alliance on YouTube, and encourage people to attend and participate in their local town hall meetings. This is important. That's a good way to get involved and to get good conversation, open dialogue going. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
And thank you, Supervisor Crandall, for your service. Thank you.
Anyone else? No more hands. Now we're going to move to in the room for public comment. You state your name for the record. You'd have 3 minutes.
Hi, Elaine Brown. I just want to say I had a very good friend. She was the wife of a principal about 10 years ago. And yes, she did contract Lyme's disease and went through so many doctors. They said it was in her head. And she went to a neurologist and just happened to state that she had pain in her teeth, and the neurologist in Fresno happened to have a person from back east who was helping out, and he said that is a sign of Lyme's. And so she went and got a book. This is to help the county. There's a book called Salt Protocol. That's what she did. You eat high levels of salt. I happen to eat high levels of salt, not Morton's table salt, but salt that's natural. And I'm a pretty big person, and I eat a lot of salt. My last high blood pressure test was 115/80. That was a couple of months ago. So it does work. It kills the parasites. I have a lot of energy. I also drink distilled water, which pulls out metals from your you can do the research yourself, though. It's called Salt Protocol. And she also went to Dr. Pompa for further stuff in LA. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else in the room?
Yeah. Hi, Mom. Good morning, supervisors. My name is Steven Zerker, and this is Melody, my beautiful wife of 43 years now. We live at Sterling Shores, and we're here to speak on the mobile home park owners in Lake County who rent their lots. Many of these mobile home owners are relatively poor. There's a lot of them that are elderly. They make octogenarians look like they're kids. Some of them are in their 90s, 90-year-old, 95. Some of them are ill. We're asking you to finish working out this strong rent stabilization ordinance, as well as a moratorium on the pass-through fees that would be retroactive to January 1st of this year. Many other counties have actually done this already, cities also. It protects their residents. We understand these mobile home park owners are entitled to a profit. I'm thinking maybe a 5% cap or something would be reasonable for all of us. But right now for us, it's 13% this year, our raise. I mean, also we're expecting another increase in October, probably another 5% on top of that, and 4 or 5% last year. So, it's becoming more and more expensive. We're surviving, but there's a lot of people that are really old and ran out of money already. So we have to protect our citizens, right? Let me see. So there's some parks that are worse off than us. Ours was $60 a month. We paid 3 or 4 of those now. There's a park that's over $300 a month increase for this year. So we do actually appreciate your effort. We know you're putting effort into these. We know that. We talked to Supervisor Bruno before, and we know you're working on that. It takes time, but remembering other counties have done this. So we appreciate your effort, and we ask God to bless you in your decisions, because there's a lot of people that need your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room?
Good morning. I'm Jill Combs, Sterling Shores. And I'm Jill Combs from Sterling Shores Estates Mobile Home. Thank you, EJ Crandall. I want to acknowledge you right away for your hard work. By now, we're advocating for the completion and approval of an RSO for the manufactured home park residents in the entire county, highlighting Sterling Shores. The supervisors have the opportunity to make right a wrong. The reason that brought us here initially was this pass-through of fee, and it just seems so wrong. The rules were weighted for the landowner as opposed to having it be even for the renters as well. If we were to reverse that and pass on fees to the landowner for water that pipe repairs on our homes or to put in a new heating system, it would be looked at way differently. I do have an issue that they said that they needed this, but without opening up their books. If they would open up and show a financial need, we might be looking at it a little differently. So I asked the Board of Supervisors to show all Lake County residents that they can be champions for the constituents, not just the most powerful and influential of the county, but the ones with the greatest need as well. I was disheartened when I first came up here and feeling a little hopeless, but I think we're making some movement, and that has to be acknowledged and appreciated. Thank you for your time to investigate and explore the issue. And, just really please keep it going. I'm on my own with just a very limited income. And I promise not to lose faith in y'all. Okay,
Thank you. Next in the room.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. There used to be a TV show called MASH, and in that show there was a character, Radar O'Reilly, who, among other things, was very adept at manipulating his hapless but otherwise affable Commander Blake into signing off on things without the colonel actually fully understanding what it is he was signing off on. It was a good little comedy bit. Blake would ask questions, and Radar would respond with doublespeak and misdirections and subtly worded references. And yeah, it was a good comedy, but in the real world, that's not something that should be happening. And as you know, I sit here and we watch this, and too often I see it happen in this board, where people come up and say things that aren't, well, basically manipulative and somewhat puppeteering. The latest example is this conversation around the rezoning of the parcels near Lamson Field. For over a year, we've heard CDD say, well, this was just a mistake. Colonel Blake just signed here, here, and here. We forgot to update the maps, but we'll get that taken care of if you just sign this here, here, and here. And, that initial study, don't worry about that. We'll do that later. Just sign here, here, and here. Problem with that is, one, is that the people that actually have firsthand knowledge of what transpired back then have a different view of what actually happened that doesn't align with CDD's creative interpretation of events. Even the property owner has a very different story on that. The other thing that's concerning is this conflation with approving a general plan with approving zoning. Approving a general plan is a policy process, and approving zoning is a very particular regulatory process that leaves a trail, a distinctive trail if it was followed. There would have been an initial study, but CDD has deflected and did a little sleight of hand by saying, well, we'll do that when someone opens a permit, and it is true. CEQA requires one when you do a major use permit, but it also requires one when you do rezoning, and there's no evidence that one was done for rezoning. There would have been a planning commission hearing, and there's no evidence of that. And then there would have been a board hearing for an ordinance amendment specific to the parcels that are to be rezoned, and there would have been an ordinance number assigned to it, and there's no evidence of that. This is not a sitcom. This is real life. We don't need that kind of game playing in our government, and it's unfair to the board and to the public when that kind of manipulation occurs. It's hard enough to make a decision when you have good information. It's even harder when you're being misled. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Mr. Crandall, for your service.
Thank you. Next in the room.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Samantha Bond. I'm the Executive Director of First Five Lake, and I also happen to be the Chair of the Breastfeeding Coalition. And I'm here today to announce a couple initiatives that we have going on. One of them is we're campaigning the Body Positivity Campaign, which is geared towards highlighting the postpartum period of a family's life and throughout the infant feeding stages. And so we're going to be doing a a photo shoot and hopefully a video shoot as well to kind of highlight those experiences. Not all experiences look the same. We understand that breastfeeding is not the easiest thing for everyone. And so we want to have all the participants we can. So I'm going to leave these here on the table for you guys. We also are proud to announce and share that we are now part of the Mother Milk Bank of California. This milk bank allows for breastfeeding individuals to donate their breast milk to infants who are in need. Those infants that breast milk does go through a process and a screening process, and it is only offered to infants via a prescription through a doctor. So this is a very highly medical process and procedure, but it is an option for us, and we really saw the need for it, especially when we had the formula issue a couple years back. So very excited about that as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? State your name. You'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, make sure we get this T-shirt on the screen. Sky Laywell. I'm a member of the Manchester Band of Puerto Rican Pomo Indians and owner of Pillsbury Family Farms. What we are seeing today is a board making a choice to stand behind a very specific kind of leadership and the values that come with it. Leadership is not just about the titles, it is about conduct. When we look at the conduct coming out of community development, we do not see the shared value of public trust. On a normal day, we see quite the opposite. We do not see integrity. We see manipulation. We do not see honesty, but concealment. We do not see accountability, but deflection. We do not see transparency, but obstruction. And we do not see fairness, but selective enforcement. We do not see public service, but public control. That is what your current leadership looks like. Now let's talk about what this board is allowing. We, the people, are not okay with a government director exposing sensitive personal information like social security numbers. We, the people, are not okay with being told to seek out Sheriff Lucas Bingham to reverse a background determination that your departments rely on, but refuse to explain in writing. We, the people, are not okay with the director apologizing to the county's attorney tax collector for how long it was going to take our license. And we, the people, are not okay with a department that continues to overspend while asking the public to carry the burden. California has penal codes for misconduct and abuse of authority and misuse of information, and those laws do not enforce themselves. The system is meant to protect the public when it becomes entangled with the departments that it should be holding accountable. What we are seeing is a breakdown in trust and accountability, and the public is told just to accept it. At this point, let us stop calling it Community Development Department, because development requires growth, it requires support, and it requires partnership with the public. What we are experiencing is not development. It is regulation and control. So let us call it what it is, Community Regulation Department. And whether you like it or not, let's say it out loud, because this is the message that is being sent to the public. Respect her authority. Because if you do not, you will receive the same treatment as Pillsbury Family Farms. And right now, what this board is defending is manipulation, concealment, deflection, obstruction, and selective enforcement, and of course, public control. We, the people, are paying attention, and we will not stand for this. Molayam.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? State your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Justin Quayle. I have been working with Eddie, and we've been trying to figure out if code enforcement is police officers. They have impersonated police officers, and Eddie and I have been working on it for 2 years and can't get the sheriff's department or anybody, except for Wendy from probation said that they are not. But I've been told they are, and by Marcus, and I filed complaints. Nothing happens. So are they or are they not? Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? Not seeing anyone, I'm going to close public comment and move on to our 903 item, which is Pet of the Week. Invite our Animal Control Department up.
Morning, Chair. Good morning. Good morning, Board. This is Rusty. He is a 2-year-old cattle dog. He's very good with other dogs. He is very energetic when he's out in the open field. He was found on White Way in Kelseyville. He is unaltered and he is ready for adoption if anybody wants to adopt him. And thank you for everybody's service. If there's any veterans or military service members in here.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any public comments on our pet of the week? Any members of the board? Thank you for coming in today. And now we're going to move on to our 6.3 905 item, presentation of a proclamation designating May 2026 as Lake County Month of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and People. Supervisor Crandall is going to handle this, and anyone who is here for this proclamation is welcome to come up, please, and join Supervisor Crandall on the stage.
Yes, if you're here, please join me upstage here or on the dais.
Here, let me help.
All right. We still have room over here if need be, if we can push it. Yeah. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation designating May 2026 as Lake County Month of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and People. Whereas, according to the National Crime Justice Training Center, missing and murdered Native women are 2.5 times more likely to experience violent crimes and twice as likely to experience rape or sexual assault in their lifetime, comprise of 40% of sex trafficking victims and experience rape at a rate of 1 in every 3. And whereas, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, American Indian Alaskan Native men are 2.5 times more likely to experience violent crimes, and nearly half, 45.3%, have experienced rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime. And whereas the CDC also reports that over 4 in 5 American Indian Alaskan Native men and women have experienced violence in their lifetime, and homicide is the 3rd leading cause of death for Native youth aged 1 through 19, the 4th leading cause for Native males aged 20 to 44, and the 6th leading cause for Native women aged 20 to 44. And whereas the National Crime Information Center missing and unidentified persons statistics from 2022 accounted for 5,487 missing Indigenous person incidents, 4,251 of whom were under the age of 20, and by the end of 2022, 1,593 of those cases remained open. And whereas in 2020, the federal government enacted Savannah's Act and Not Invisible Act to address the lack of accurate data, enhance law enforcement collaboration, and create better responses to the growing crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and people. And whereas the origins of this epidemic trace back to systemic legal and structural barriers, such as the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Oliphant and Suquamish Indian Tribe 1978, which stripped tribal nations of power to prosecute non-natives who commit crimes on tribal lands, severely undermining tribal sovereignty and the protection of Indigenous people. And whereas Lake County is the home to some of the earliest known atrocities against Indigenous people, including the Temescal Massacre, 1820s, and the Bloody Island Massacre, 1850, both devastating events that reflect the long history of state and settler violence against the Pomo people, and marks the beginning of documented cases of missing and murdered Indigenous people in what is now Lake County, California. Whereas the area known today as Lake County is located on the ancestral homelands of Indigenous people who have lived, stewarded, and honored these lands since time immemorial, and is currently home to 7 federally recognized tribes: the Big Valley Band of Pomo Indians, the Elam Indian Colony, the Habemetalo Pomo of Upper Lake, the Khoi Nation of Northern California, the Middletown Rancheria of Pomo Indians of California, the Robinson Rancheria of Pomo Indians, and the Scotts Valley Band of Pomo Indians. And whereas the County of Lake is committed to honoring the lives of missing and murdered Indigenous people, both those documented in public records and those whose cases remain unrecorded, and stands in solidarity with the families, communities, and tribal nations impacted by these ongoing tragedies, and recognizes that addressing this crisis requires continued action, justice, healing, and systemic change. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Lake hereby designates May 2026 as Lake County Month of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and People, passed and adopted this 5th day of May 2026, signed by the Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Brad Rasmussen. Ooh. Well, I'll let people speak before I start handing all these out.
I quickly want to just say thank you to the Board of Supervisors, the County of Lake, and anybody involved with making sure that this proclamation is carried out. There's a lot of times when speaking with a lot of different individuals from a lot of different areas, they don't have the opportunity to even have one day proclaimed for our missing and murdered Indigenous people. And for that, we are very thankful to the Board of Supervisors, to the County of Lake, and anybody involved in making sure that this has happened. Thank you for seeing us and allowing us not just a day, but an entire month of May, to commemorate those individuals that are missing or murdered. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to my sister, Katie Ray. And thank you, Katie, for standing with me this entire time. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Today we gather not just in acknowledgement, but in responsibility. We stand here to recognize a crisis that has lived in the shadows for far too long, the epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous people. This is not a statistic. This is not history. This is happening now. Behind every number is a name, a daughter, a son, a mother, a father, a relative, a life that mattered, a life that still matters. For generations, Indigenous communities have carried the weight of silence, of invisibility, of systems that have failed to protect our people. Families have searched without answers. Communities have grieved without justice. And too often, those cases have been ignored, underreported, or dismissed. But today, we refuse silence. We speak the truth that Indigenous people face disproportionate violence, that judicial gaps, lack of resources, and systematic inequalities have allowed this crisis to continue, and that awareness without action is not enough. This proclamation is not just words, it is a commitment to honor those we have lost, a commitment to stand with the families who continue searching, a commitment to demand accountability, improved data collection, stronger protections, and real resources for prevention and response. A commitment to uplift Indigenous voices, leadership, and solutions. As we also recognize the strength of our communities, despite grief, there is resilience. Despite loss, there is love. Despite injustice, there is a powerful movement rising, led by families, advocates, and Indigenous leaders who refuse to let their relatives be forgotten. The families you will see, we hear you. We stand with you. To those still missing, you are not forgotten. We will say your names. We will carry your stories. We will continue the fight for justice. As we proclaim our commitment today, let it not end here. Let it live in our policies, in our partnerships, in our actions every single day, because our relatives deserve more than remembrance. They deserve justice, they deserve safety, and they deserve to come home. I have a cousin who's been missing in Mendocino County for 8 years. I have a cousin who was murdered 2 weeks ago. I have a growing number in my community of missing and murdered Indigenous people. So living over here and being away from home, I have to say I'm thankful for the partnerships that I have here. I'm thankful for the Sheriff's Department and the
commitment that they have made to me and I have made to them to work together. I'm thankful for the partnerships that I have with each and every single tribal council member that I work with, and the community members and the community leaders that are committed to this, because it's important. Last year, someone asked why we always say their name. We say their name because they're still a living spirit. They're still needing to be remembered. They're still needed to be brought to justice. We still need to act on these. So for Audie Rose, for Khadijah, for Illy, for all of those who we have lost, we say their names every day. Thank you.
Come on forward, Chairman.
First of all, I want to thank the Board of Supervisors for the proclamation today. You know, as a leader of one of the 109 California federally recognized tribes and the 575 federally tribes in the United States, you know, something like this is going on today in every state in this country, right? It's something that we honor because they were all affected, you know. For our people, we work together closely with Katie and several others because we know how important our people are to us. And so we'll never forget them. We'll keep fighting because of all the things that we had to go through, and we're still here today. So with that being said, I would like to honor our people that passed with the song. Yone Sule Sule, 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 Yone Sule Chicago, Aya. Huye yonne osule sule, 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 yonne osule Chicago, Aya. Huye yonne osule sule, yonne osule sule, yonne osule sule, yonne osule sule, yonne osule Chicago, Aya. Huye yonne osule sule. Yonne osule sule, yonne osule sule, yonne osule sule, yonne osule sule, yonne osule Chicago, iya huye yonne osule.
Would there anyone else like to speak? All right, any Board of Supervisors from there?
Yeah, thank you for bringing this and keeping it out in the public, bringing light to it, and also outstanding event last Friday that Tribal Health sponsored, and I saw many of you folks there, so that was outstanding. And just so the public knows, I didn't hear it mentioned, maybe it did, the flag for missing and murdered Indigenous folks will also be flown outside the courthouse, I believe, starting today, probably right now.
Oh.
Any other board members? No? Any members of the public? If not, we'll get a picture.
I'll go ahead and say something real quick too, just because I know that in most of our tribes and through history, there's been incidents where we've lost folks. And I'm glad that you mentioned that it didn't just start from recent, like even back in, or not what you mentioned, but what's mentioned in the proclamation about the massacres and whatnot. And I'd just like to highlight that a lot of our people were actually sold to slavery and whatnot during the gold rush days. And so I always say this, and people have come to me and said, I think I am part Native, is that some of our people were lost. And back then there was no types of laws like Indian Child Welfare Act. So some children were given to families, wherever they were. And so some of the folks may have Indian blood from here and other tribes that never even knew that because they lost their parents or they were, born and sold into conscription. So I just like to highlight that some people may feel like they're connected. They may be. They may just very be. And so I just wanted to mention that because that's another form of loss that we've had when it comes to missing as well. So just wanted to highlight that. Yes.
I just wanted to leave everyone here with the call to action, is that tribal people didn't create the conditions that you see today, that we had no power into to say where we occupy, what lands we're now confined to. There were thousands of villages here in Lake County, and now there's only 7 federally recognized tribes. You have to ask yourself, why is that? And it's because we've had this epidemic of murder in our history. And to recognize that, as beautiful as these moments are, that it is re-traumatizing to the families that have to relive these experiences when we raise awareness. But they endure that pain so that others can be made aware of that these are challenges that we still continue to struggle with. So I just want to encourage everyone in the public that, with all these, a lot of these folks here represent different organizations, community organizations. And so when you donate to services, that know that those funds are being reinvested in communities to prevent these things. That when you go and you put in a few dollars of gas in your vehicle at a tribal gas station, that those funds are going back into tribal programming to help to protect our children, to help educate our people. So there's things that you all can do. A lot of times when we're going through pain and we're going through hardship, we go to our medicines, but a lot of times we can't access our medicines because it's on private property. And so those are things that's important to see how you can be a part of the solution. That you can't be directly blamed for the history and the legacy that we've endured, but you can be a part of the solutions moving forward. And if you have medicinal plants on your property that maybe you don't use, but tribal people use, that you can open your lands up to help with our people to gather those medicines so that during those times of hardship, that our people can go and gather and take those to the families that need those things. That this month, May, is MMIP month. But it's also our ceremony time that's happening right now. That all throughout our roundhouse ceremonies, these are happening. These are these places that our people are going to pray for those things that our people need. And so I also just want to acknowledge our spiritual people, our grandparents that held on to the cultures, that held on to the songs and the ceremonies to hand it down so that we can use those things today to help us. And so this is a beautiful moment for all of us to stand here. But we stand on the goodness of what our people sacrificed, and that there's still more work to be done, and that we've committed our lives to doing this work, and that we can't do it alone. That we need all of you to be a part of that in any way that it might be. It could be different ways. Law enforcement has a role to play. Emergency response has a role to play. But community members here also have a role. And if you don't know how you can help, engage with somebody and ask. Because there's always a way that you can be of support to these efforts. And again, it's just us coming together that we can start to see this shift. And it's happening here. And I'm grateful for everybody that took time to come here and all this work that goes in. But just to be mindful that there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes that are happening. And we need your help too as well. So I just wanted to say that and appreciate everyone here. Oh.
All right. I think we're ready.
Ready for a picture?
Oh, yeah.
I'll just stand up. Trevor. And we're going to be on a quick break before the next one.
I turned you off.
Good, because I was crunching.
Go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to reopen item 6.3, if that's appropriate, the language.
Okay, which is the, yes, the proclamation.
Yeah, the previous item.
The previous item, the proclamation designating May as Lake County Month of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and People. I have a motion to reopen that item briefly. Go ahead, Mr. County Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since the request to reopen the item is before your board may want to take in public comment on that motion to, or request to reopen that item.
Thank you. Does anybody in the room have any public comment about whether or not we reopen this item? Not hearing anyone online? There's no public comments, so I bring it back to the board. There's a motion been made on the floor. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor to reopen?
Aye.
That motion carries 4-0. Go ahead, Supervisor.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I appreciate that we're putting up the flag. I know that we also do for our military veterans. On Veterans Day, we do light up our courthouse green. Had a conversation with Ms. Katie Ray if it would be appropriate to put some red lights on the courthouse, and the answer was yes, and I would like to see if we can provide direction. I'm not sure what the timeline would look like to purchase and place those, but just looking to give direction so that we can get that, and then we can use that year after year after year.
Any questions from board members at this point? So then I think I need to open to the public just for limited purpose of discussion of whether or not we would give any direction to staff regarding those lights. Is there anybody in the room that has any public comment? And nothing online, so I'll go ahead and close public comment, bring it back to the board. And
Just direction.
Just direction. We don't need a motion, so I'm in favor. So, go ahead, Mr. County Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just for clarification, it would be direction of staff to light the county courthouse with red lights. And as I understand it, from May 5 today, May 5, 2026 through May 31, 2026.
As soon as possible through, since it is a proclamation for May, and I know it does have some overlap, but we have an internal discussion already of what's going on with the overlap, and that will be figured out.
Okay, so just to be clear, it'll be figured out with future items.
Yeah.
Okay, on the timing.
Yeah, we'll be bringing back something about the celebration of the country.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, is the military month, the overlap with that, how are we going to handle that? With the, because we light that in green, is that correct?
No, that's in November.
Veterans Day.
Oh, that's in November. Okay, I apologize.
And of course, the United States flag will still always be up. There's a different flagpole for the additional flags that go up different times of the year.
I thought we did something for Memorial Day with lights. Thank you.
All right, so it sounds like we had consensus there, direction to staff. So I'll go ahead and close that item. And then I'm going to move on to our 6.4, our 910 item, which is presentation of a proclamation designating May 2026 as Military Appreciation Month in Lake County. Supervisor Crandall is going to handle this. Anyone here for Military Appreciation Month proclamation, please join the supervisor up here on the stage.
Come on up. Yes, please, any veterans that are in the room, please come on up and stand with us. Anyone who's served in the military or has a child that's deployed right now or in the military, that's very appropriate, or a spouse. I say that too because in doing this proclamation, we think about all the soldiers that are deployed, whether it be active duty, reserve, and whatnot that are deployed right now, or even our military contractors that are from the states that are in, in areas near Iran right now. We want to make sure that we keep them in mind as we read this proclamation and think about our soldiers. So I'll go ahead and read this proclamation designating May 2026 as Military Appreciation Month in Lake County. Whereas the freedom and security that citizens of the United States enjoy today are the direct results of the sacrifice and continued vigilance by the United States Armed Forces over the history of our great nation. And whereas members of the United States Armed Forces and the family members who support them have preserved the liberties that enrich this nation, making it unique in the world community. And whereas in 2004, the United States Congress passed a resolution proclaiming May as National Military Appreciation Month, calling all Americans to remember those who have given their lives in defense of freedom and to honor the men and women of our armed services who have served and continued to serve our country. And whereas the months of May and June were selected for this display of patriotism because during these months we celebrate Victory in Europe Day, Military Spouse Day, Loyalty Day, Armed Forces Day and Week, National Day of Prayer, Memorial Day, Navy Day, Army Day, and Flag Day. Whereas the months of May and June are an opportunity to acknowledge and salute the families of those who are called away to duty. And whereas Lake County is the place of many veterans, close to 1 out of every 12 residents proudly call home. Whereas the Lake County Board of Supervisors recognizes the courage and sacrifice of all veterans and active duty military personnel in our communities and throughout our nation. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Lake County Board of Supervisors does hereby designate the month of May 2026 as Military Appreciation Month in Lake County and calls upon all residents to show their gratitude and appreciation for our military personnel by the appropriate display of flags and ribbons. Passed and adopted this 5th day of May 2026, signed Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Brad Rasmussen. Go ahead, Sergeant.
How's it going? I'm Staff Sergeant Klitsky. I'm the U.S. Army recruiter for your county. I accept this award and an achievement for all veterans, not as an individual, for all representation of all active duty, retired, anyone that we've lost. I accept it for all of them. It's a great honor that I'm receiving, but it's not as an individual. I thank you all and the people behind me as well, who have in some way, form, or shape have sacrificed something for this country. Thank you all for the time, and thank you to Miss Jeannie as well.
I'd like to thank the Board of Supervisors for once again declaring Military Appreciation Month. It's not lost on any of us why we have the freedoms to be here. And behind me are people who have loved ones currently deployed, and we're all praying for their safe return. And I'd remind everyone that in Lake County, we do have Gold Star families who have lost loved ones in service to our nation. So it's something we need to be mindful of, that a lot of sacrifice has gone into the freedoms. What's why we have the freedom to assemble here today. It's because of a veteran, or all of our veterans, that we can do so. So I'd ask you to continue to support our troops, honor our veterans, never forget our fallen. Thank you.
Any other, I wanted to say that I'm a little jealous that we didn't have those back when I was in. I know they come from the old times, but yeah, pinks and greens are nice. All right, any,
I just thank you to all of our veterans and all of those members currently serving our country. Thank you.
I'd like to echo that we are extremely grateful. And I see somebody here from Iran, I believe. Yes. Yes. And so I hope we're making good progress over there. And I don't know if you've been able to visit with your family at all. And but no, my family has also served, my son, my father. So yeah.
I pray for every single brothers and sisters overseas to come home safe.
Yes, absolutely.
Priority. And to be honest with you, sometimes I get lost, but my homeland right now is exactly what I'm standing.
Thank you. Thank you. I remember you coming before us last year, I believe it was it? Nice, nice. And thank you again for being here. I had mentioned before that was really important that you were here, and we really appreciated it. And I'm really glad to see that many of our service veterans are here working for Lake County. That's very impressive, and you're very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your service.
Anybody in the public wish to make a comment? Not seeing any. Sterling?
I want to say thank you. My grandfather fought in the Korean War, and I appreciate all your guys' hard service and giving us our freedom for our Constitution, our rights to believe in what we believe in. And I appreciate everything that every service member has done for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Sterling. Anyone else? What's that? Angela?
Angela Emerald.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Angela Emerald. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that serves our country now and in the past. Your service is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, closed public comment. I think we're ready for a picture. Next, we're going to move on to our 6.5915 item, which is presentation of a proclamation designating May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as Correctional Officers Week in Lake County. And again, we'll have, looks like quite a few Sheriff's Department members come up, and I'll be handling this item.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Look at this motley crew.
All right, this is a proclamation by the Board of Supervisors designating May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as Correctional Officers Week in Lake County. Whereas the operation of correctional and detention facilities housing millions of prisoners and detainees throughout the nation represents a crucial component of our criminal justice system. And whereas no public servant has a more difficult or less publicly visible job than the men and women who ensure the safety, containment, and control of human beings charged to their care while sustaining uncompromised regard for their dignity and constitutional rights. And whereas correctional personnel must maintain constant vigilant in terms of their own safety as well as protecting inmates from the violence of other prisoners and at times from inflicting harm on themselves. And whereas correctional personnel are charged with protecting the rights of the public and safeguarding the public from the criminals in their custody, while at the same time encouraging such prisoners to develop skills and attitudes that can help them become productive members of society after their release. And whereas correctional personnel work under demanding circumstances and face danger in their daily work lives, often sacrificing personal and family time to provide a necessary but often thankless and unrecognized service to the public. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the County of Lake Board of Supervisors designates the week of May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as Correctional Officers Week in Lake County and encourages all citizens of the county to join in recognizing the contributions and sacrifices of all custody staff in maintaining the safety and security of our correctional and detention facilities, passed and adopted this 5th day of May 2026 by our Board of Supervisors. And thank you to our Sheriff's Department who maintains our jail in Lake County. And the job of our correctional officers truly is something that's not often seen by the public, and they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes that's very necessary as part of our overall public safety in Lake County. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the board and the chair for bringing this proclamation. Everybody can hear me, right? Got me off topic there for a second. The proclamation pretty much says it all, but there's one thing I'd like to add is that you guys, our community has an outstanding correctional staff. They're very dedicated, very professional, and they do an outstanding job. And I think it's probably one of the hardest jobs in the criminal justice system. We average about 230 inmates on a daily population in our correctional facility, and I can promise you all 230 of them do not want to be there. And our correctional staff goes to work every day, and they make sure they're taken care of. They make sure they get what they need. They make sure they get to their programs and get through those things to hopefully at some point help them stop coming back into our facility and back into the criminal justice system. And they do an outstanding job at that. So thank you, and thank you for bringing this. And please, when you have the opportunity, I say this all the time, when you see somebody in uniform, please take the opportunity to thank them for their service to this county. You have no idea what just a simple thank you, seeing them in a restaurant or a grocery store, simply thanking them for their commitment to our community goes a long way. You have no idea what that deputy or that officer saw that day or had to go deal with. They may have just come from a traffic accident, or they might have been in the correctional facility where somebody spit on them. And then you just saying thank you for the work that you do could change their entire day, just that simple thank you. So please, if you have the opportunity to do that, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any comments from board members? Go ahead, Supervisor Crandall.
Well, thanks to all of you, and I know that corrections is something that's probably one of the top of your list because that's a shall under that duty that you have there. And so most of even the deputies here, once we lose correctional officers somewhere else, they go in and do the work. So they've all been a part of it, and it's why it's important. And as the board, I know we take it very seriously to try to get you the resources you need so you can keep these guys on the street and keep those people, tended to. So appreciate that.
Thank you. Supervisor Hahn?
Of course, there's a great deal of gratitude in our family and our communities for all of you and what you do. And I don't know if you guys really realize it, but some people, when they drive by, they're looking their rearview mirrors to check to make sure you're okay. Just a quick glance and just making sure that everything's okay. And I don't know what we would do, but we definitely are looking out for you as well. I hope most of the community is doing that. So thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Any members of the public or Supervisor Sabatier?
I was told I was not a man of many words, so I'll keep it short. You see people possibly at some of their worst points in their lives, but you are their first point of turning their lives around. So thank you for being there for those folks, and thank you for taking care of them.
Anybody in the public? Not seeing any in the room. Nobody online? Then I think we're ready to get a picture. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to move on to our 6.6 920 item, which is presentation of proclamation designating May 1st through 7th, 2026 as Elks National Youth Week in Lake County. Supervisor Owen's going to handle that, and if we could get anybody with the Elks up here on the stage, and since I am a member of the Elks, I'll come down and join them. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, you've seen lots of red today. I know, we're like, good color.
Proclamation designating May 1st through the 7th, 2026 as Elks National Youth Week in Lake County. Whereas Lakeport Elks Lodge 2704 will sponsor an observance of the National Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks National Youth Week, May 1st through the 7th, 2026, in honor of Americans junior citizens for their accomplishments, to give the fitting recognition to the service to community, state, and nation. And whereas no event could be more deserving to our support and participation than one dedicated to these young people who present the nation's greatest resource, and who in the years ahead will assume responsibility for the accomplishments of the free society. And whereas our youth need the guidance, inspiration, and encouragement which we can give in cooperation with other local agencies and partners to help develop those qualities and characteristics essential for future leadership roles in our nation and communities. And whereas for over 19 years, Lakeport Elks Lodge has promoted the annual Elks Americanism Essay Contest, which is open to all students in the 5th through the 8th grade. Last year, 150 essays were submitted to the state level finals. And whereas this year Lakeport Elks had a fun turnout as they participated in the Elks National Hoop Shoot, which has been unleashing gritty kids ages 8 to 13 over 50 years. Hoop Shoot is committed to making contests fully inclusive and safe for all participants and volunteers. And whereas Lakeport Elks Lodge 2704 is giving $9,000 in scholarships to 5 outstanding seniors from Lake County, 3 public school districts this year. Whereas the Elks Lodge Drug Awareness Programs, DAP, has been recognized as the largest all-volunteer drug awareness program in the United States. Elks believes to ensure a bright future for our country, it is essential that all children be raised in a drug-free environment. And whereas Lakeport Elks Lodge 2704 participates in the Lake County Sheriff's Athletic League, SAL, which builds relationships between law enforcement and local youth through sporting activities. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Board of Supervisors of Lake County be hereby designating May 1st through the 7th, 2026 as Elks National Youth Week in Lake County, and signed by the Chair of the Supervisors.
For years, we didn't let people know that we actually do all this work. We kept it a secret. Now we get to talk and say so. We've been doing it right along. And youth is what I would say probably 50% of what we do has to do with our young people. And until just recently this year, We were second only to the federal government in scholarships, not just our lodge, but all the lodges. And we were totally American. We're only in the United States of America. And any rate, I'm very proud to be an Elk, and I'm very proud of all the work we do with kids.
Yeah, no, I'm proud to be part of this Elks organization. They really do a lot of stuff, like our ER said, for youth, but we also support veterans. We also support families who have children with disability, with physical disabilities. So there's really a lot going on with our organization. Thank you. Anybody else from the board? Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, just real quick. A community without its service groups is not quite the same community. It requires somebody to organize those around them, and it's difficult when you don't have an organization to be a part of. So I'm just wondering if there might be a way to tell people how to join and how to continue to grow the service groups and engage more community.
How to join Elks. Well, first off, go online. That's the fastest, easiest way, and you can learn about us that way.
What's the online address?
Elks.org. Pretty simple. The other is that we'll be at the Memorial Day Parade, and we'll be handing out flyers and such. And we will also be at the Pear Festival, and we probably will be, I know we'll be at a crafts fair, but I'm not too sure where that's at or what it's attached to. And in all of those, we also do the drug awareness there as well as membership drive. So there's lots of different things going on when we do that.
Brad could hook you up.
Yeah, or come by the lodge at 3775 Lakeshore Boulevard in Lakeport. Supervisor Crandall?
Just wanted to, everything's been pretty much said, but I wanted to also highlight how I appreciated going to the Western Region Town Hall. And I know Dave Eby's not here, but he's one of the Elks members as well, and he brings the folks there. And you guys were, entirely generous in giving some funding out to some, I think, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was a cause. And that's what you always do. You're there to help, and it's always appreciated. And we can count on groups like yourself to really help the community because, as you know, our county is limited resources. We're a rural county, so we count on people like you that serve, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Supervisor.
North Shore Fire a couple of years ago.
That's right. It was the grant for North Shore Fire. That's right, which is highly needed, and thank you for that. Yeah.
We also do the food bureau as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of programs. The food donation that goes to the North Shore, grants for veteran stand-downs, grants for other Totes for Teens. There's a lot of stuff in the community that we do. So come out and join us. Come check us out at the lodge. Do we have any members of the public who wish to comment or anything online? No? Then I think we're ready for a picture.
Thank you, board.
No, bring some of these men in for dinner.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Next, we're going to move on to our 6.7, 925 item. And this is presentation of a proclamation designating May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as National Small Business Week in Lake County. And we have some business representatives here, I believe, that are going to come up with the supervisor.
Come on up.
Nicole and Weston.
I appreciate your patience. I saw more that represented the business associations, and thank you for staying. So today is a proclamation that is obviously close to our hearts. As we prepare for our budgets, we need to recognize just how important businesses are a part of our revenues. Their success means that we can provide better services to our community, and there has to be a balance in that relationship on how do we support businesses and how do we make sure that they continue to thrive in our community. And I know there's been a major change. I just want to highlight that change, that the Lake EDC and the Lake County Chamber of Commerce have combined, not entirely, but combined with leadership. And I know that I've always sent any new business or any entrepreneur to Lake EDC to make sure that they have shared knowledge on how best to initiate their business. And then with the Lake County Chamber being attached to that, it gives all of those resources in one place. So I think it's a tremendous change that has occurred, and I hope that it continues. And thank you so much for taking on that role, Nicole. So today, proclamation designating May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as National Small Business Week in Lake County. Whereas America's progress has been driven by pioneers who think big, take risks, and work hard. And whereas from the storefront shops that anchor our downtown areas to the high-tech startups that keep America on the cutting edge, small businesses are the backbone of our economy and the cornerstone of our nation's promise. And whereas small business owners and downtown businesses have energy and a passion for what they do, when we support small business, jobs are created and local communities preserve their unique culture. And whereas because this country's 36 million small businesses create nearly 2 out of 3 new jobs in our economy, we cannot resolve to create jobs and spur economic growth without discussing ways to support entrepreneurs. And whereas the President of the United States has proclaimed National Small Business Week every year since 1963 to highlight the programs and services available to entrepreneurs through the U.S. Small Business Administration and other agencies. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Lake County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as National Small Business Week and commends the courage and efforts and time of all entrepreneurs and small business owners in Lake County, past and present, who are the backbone of our local economy, providing opportunities and employment to all of our communities. Passed and adopted this 5th day of May and signed by our board chair.
I just want to say quickly, thank you so much, Bruno, and the Board of Supervisors for honoring small businesses this week. This is part of a national effort to honor those who create and run small businesses. As a part of the celebration, both the Chamber and the EDC are co-hosting a mixer next Monday. We've joined forces with the Skylark Shores Resort, and we're doing a ribbon cutting Monday, May 11th at 5:30. We invite everyone to come and join us. I have some flyers. Helen, will you make sure everybody gets those here at the office? What you're going to see there is a tabling event highlighting many of our chamber business-to-business members, but the EDC has also brought regional resources to that event. So they're all going to join together there in order for businesses to learn more about how they can be more successful and utilize the free resources that we all have available to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to, Weston Seifert, I want to thank the board. I want to thank Nicole for her leadership with the Chamber of Commerce and the EDC. Small business, I gotta do this. Small business is the backbone for Lake County. It is vital. Mom and pops, Main Street businesses, that's how Lake County grows. And so, you know, it is to keep it local, go out and support your local small business. It's absolutely vital. I'm thankful for the Chamber of Commerce to be able to be leading the charge, as well as the EDC in supporting businesses in Lake County. So, and thank you all.
Thank you. I'll just mention, I know it's been indicated, but the businesses of this county are absolutely critical to our survival as a county. We operate with a large portion of our revenue being from sales tax. And so we've got to support our local businesses. We've got to support our organizations such as the Chamber, EDC, many other business organizations in the county to keep them strong so that we can have a strong economy and be able to move forward. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes, thank you for this proclamation, and thank you for coming and being a part of it and talking about the importance of business. I know the chamber does a lot of work to try to get assistance to the small businesses and whatnot, and it's a really big issue in my district where we're losing restaurants, and then we're losing stores, or they're moving because it's not lucrative for them. And so, strategic ways to figure out how we can make sure they stay. That's what we're doing, and that's what we'll do, and I'll work with you all on that. So, just wanted to highlight that.
Thank you, Supervisor. Did you have something, Ellen? Supervisor Hahn?
Small businesses are absolutely the backbone of America. America was built on small businesses. And I think that the small businesses, especially in a rural community, touch so many lives. I don't know that we could operate without them. So they're really important. And I know I've been involved in small business most of my life. So thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the support that you give to the small businesses of America and Lake County.
Thank you. Do we have anybody in the public that wishes to comment? We have Samantha Bond.
I just want to echo kind of what everybody was saying around how small businesses are the backbone. One of the things I want to acknowledge that most of our local children's sports, youth activities, and stuff like that are empowered and then supported by our small businesses. There's a lot of donations from them. I know West for our Saw Shop has done a huge amount in our community, as well as others. Just because you're here, I named you. But they are really important to not only be the sales part of it, but also the other avenues in which they support our community through the work that they do. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. Anyone else? No hands? Then I think we're ready to get a picture. And now we're going to move on to our 6.8, 1030 item, consideration of presentation of the Lake County Positive Norms, PCN project. And we have our staff from the Lake County Office of Education. Would you please come up here to the table, staff table?
Yep, come
Up here, Brock. You guys can come up to the staff table. We got 4 chairs here. And is Carly going to be starting this, or Brock, or?
I will start.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead. We'll turn it over to you.
So again, thank you for the opportunity to present today. We are here to present on positive community norms and a new project that we are trying to initiate with a multi-agency approach here. I am Brock Falkenberg, Lake County Superintendent of Schools, and today with me is Kevin Lewis from Lake County Probation, Carly Swatosh from the County Office of Education, and Samantha Bond, our Director of First Five. We so often focus on the negative when we talk about the community, and we've been a part of that. We're really hoping to take this opportunity today to share a little bit about positive community norms and to begin to focus on hope, resilience, and strength that we already have, and to build on that hope, resilience, and strength as the foundation of this project. As we begin this work, we wanted to make sure we brought in a program that was, first of all, evidence-based and that leveraged peer influence. And if I recall, it was last week the board recognized the Friday Night Live. And that was a tremendous example of teens coming together to influence their peers. And we wanted to make sure that we were leveraging the health, the growth, and the thriving community that exists here, and then building on that base. I'm going to turn this over to Carly, and I do want to apologize. I need to step out to another meeting, so I'm going to sneak away.
Thank you, Superintendent. Appreciate it.
And I apologize. Are you guys able to see the slides? Okay. So sorry, I wasn't quite sure.
She'll have that up in just a second.
Okay.
We'll be looking.
all see it.
We'll be looking at it here on the big screen.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. So again, thank you so much for having all of us today. We are really excited to get to work on our Positive Community Norms project. Go ahead and go next slide. And the basis of this, just like Brock has mentioned, is to really imagine a Lake County where the best of us is the loudest. We know that there are so many wonderful strengths in this county, and we want to use this project and this time to help to highlight them. That is the basis of all of the work that we are putting into this. Next slide, please. Oh, thank you. So Positive Community Norms is a wonderful evidence-based project. It's with the Montana Institute, and they have done this work all over the United States. It's incredibly research-backed, and they have been able to repeat time and time again that when the community comes together and goes through this process, they're really able to shift their focus as the community at large from what's wrong to what is healthy and growing. And we know, again, that Lake County has so many of these wonderful aspects, and we are so honored to get to work on highlighting them. Next slide, and I'm going to pass it over to Kevin.
Thank you. So one of the areas that we're working on this is instead of statements like most kids use tobacco or most kids struggle in school, it's highlighting those areas where things are going right. So some of the ways is identifying those misperceptions rather than just saying that's not true. It's publicizing what's actually true. The broadcasting that the majority norms for Lake County are actually already in existence. Not that they're perfect, but that it's well on its way in a positive direction. And just aligning that behavior like the slide says. I definitely don't want to just read the PowerPoint to everybody. Next slide. So what reframing the narrative looks like, this is an example that was used in another area where 95% or 96% of Spokane knows that they can work together to end domestic violence for all families. And so what this effort is building towards is identifying specific PCNs in Lake County that we as a community can build on, and that the community can come together and go, wow, look at what's already going well. Next slide.
Sorry, learning how to use this. So the areas that we are going to focus on locally in Lake County, our first big area is supporting neighbors. And we know that the foundation of success for this project and success for our youngest citizens in Lake County is how our community comes together and really helps each other and stay involved. When kids and neighbors have time together, they form a sense of like a safety net, and it's a calmer, more inviting environment for everyone in the community. So the first thing that we are going to look at in this survey as we prepare to do this work is how Lake County comes together and is helping each other and how they are involved. We know these things are happening, we just don't have a way to quantify it. And that's the data that we're really excited to capture from this survey. And then next slide, please. The second piece of the survey is what we call PCEs, and these are positive childhood experiences. I'm sure most of you have heard of ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences. These are the nationally normed things that if a child experiences before the age of 18, the long-term health outcomes are anything from incarceration, substance abuse, violence in the home, so many different things. So if you have experienced those before the age of 18, likely your health is going to have an impact when you're older. What they found for the first time, we are so happy to bring this work, the PCEs, the positive things that are happening to our children, they are the buffer. And so long in Lake County, our families have felt hopeless that, yes, I've experienced these sad things and I don't know how to go into adulthood with them. But now they're finding across the nation that PCEs are that buffer. And so we're trying to ensure that we can capture all of the buffers happening in Lake County. We want to know the wonderful things that are happening when families attend local traditions, when children have safe adults in their home or at schools, when they feel a sense of belonging. These are PCEs recognized both nationally and by the California Surgeon General. And through this data, we will be able to collect and quantify the PCEs happening locally, and we'll be able to broadcast to our community as a whole how they can really buffer their ACE experiences. I'm going to turn over to Samantha.
Thank you. So you're probably wondering, what does this all mean for us here, and why does this matter? So first of all, the community dividends for this is pretty extensive. And if we were to actually highlight every single one of them, this slide gets a little chaotic. And then this presentation gets very, very long. So we chose to focus on three of which I believe this board would appreciate, one of which is our mental health. I know that I've heard this board speak about how there's a lot of mental health aspects that we need to support within our communities. And as Carly was alluding to, the positive childhood experiences really build that. And the reality of it is that the questions that we ask for the positive childhood experiences are also things that adults need. We all need to feel like we are seen, valued, and heard. And so to be able to build on those and build them from a young age actually helps alleviate long-term chronic treatments within our communities, as well as try to work towards reducing the historical traumatic effects that we've had in our community as well. It also helps just build that sense of community trust. So shifting from that deficit mindset of here's all the negatives that we are, to also just shifting to the strength-based approach, and focusing on all the great things that we are. Now, I want to emphasize that when we are shifting the narrative from the negative to the positive, we are not negating the negative. We're not saying that we're not talking about it and we're not addressing it. But what we are doing is we're going to focus and hyper-focus on the strengths so that we can build the strengths whilst reducing the negatives. And so we're going to continue to build that morale and foster that trust within our communities. And then the one that I think most of you will appreciate is that workforce growth. When children feel safe, seen, and heard, they're able to attend and to be able to be present and focus on growing and building and learning. When we don't feel safe, we don't feel seen, we don't feel heard, we're less likely to be able to learn. I like to give the example for most individuals, if you've ever experienced somebody yelling at you, sometimes you're not able to hear what they're trying to actually tell you until the situation is calm, and then you have an actual discussion. Same concepts happening here, right? So if we're able to kind of build on those strengths and build on the community sense of community, we're able to foster that learning and growth, and we're going to have more attendance within our schools. We all know that our attendance builds literacy, it builds graduation rates, it builds our workforce, it develops our workforce above and beyond our current capacities and capabilities. And I think all of us who are parents just hope that our children are smarter than us. Next slide, please. And so here in Lake County, we care, we connect, we inspire. You'll see this image throughout as we begin. We're just at the very beginning stages of our journeys here, and so you're going to start seeing this image quite a lot. Next slide, please. And as I mentioned, we're at the very beginning of our journey. On this slide, it looks like we're in the middle, but we're really in the beginning. So back in early 2025, that's when the Montana Institute was brought forward and the planning really began. There was a lot of internal discussions happening within LCOE as well as within the Children's Council about how and what is the best way to bring this here to Lake County, and how do we implement this in an effective manner. And then in the fall of 2025, LCW started bringing the Montana Institute for Community Trainings to really bring forward the understanding and the knowledge to those who wanted to participate as to what is the positive community norms and what is the concepts behind it. And then earlier this year, we started to really dig our heels in and develop a survey, which was a lot of back and forth as to what we should put into the survey and how should we ask the survey and who should we ask the survey to. And lo and behold, last month, we finally opened that survey to everybody. It is a community survey. It is intended for everyone 18 years and older, to kind of gather that information, to look at what are those perception gaps. So what are the things that we know about ourselves versus what we believe about our communities, so that we can look at that data, and then hopefully starting in the summer, we'll be able to take that data and start building upon that and building those messaging. And again, looking at that pretty image of we care, we connect, we inspire. I don't know, I forgot that for a second. And so that is kind of the roadmap. This is not a short-term process. This is not a one and done for us. This is a ongoing, continuous piece to the work that we're doing. And this is only one half of the positive framework that we are bringing here to the community, but this is the starting half of it. Next slide, please. All right, so together I hope that we can build a culture of hope, and I hope that you guys will not only support us throughout this process, but also go ahead and take the survey yourself, because I do believe each and one of you are over the age of 18, not by much, but you know, over the age of 18 nonetheless. We do offer it in both English and in Spanish, and if you have any hard questions, Carly's here to answer them for you, and the rest of us are here for the easy ones. Thank you.
Any questions from board members at this time? Go ahead, Supervisor Crandall.
I just like the positive look forward. That's really great to hear that. A lot of times people come forward and tell us everything that's wrong with us. Well, we do know that, and we've heard it. And for you to take the step to say, look, how can we, solutionize this, if that's even a word, but, make a solution out of this.
Supervisor Sabatier.
Yeah, I've been watching this evolve through the Children's Council. So this presentation is not truly new to me, but what I appreciate is I think sometimes we're our worst enemies. It's easy to find the negatives in everything, just like most of the emails I receive is negative. I don't really get the positive emails. I got one the other day. It was a highlight. But it's just, it's so easy to fall in the trap of looking for the bad and missing the good. And so I think flipping the script is healthy for our children, because children are trained to do what they do. And if they are reflecting what we as adults do, then they're going to start looking for the negatives right away as well. And so I think that not only is the program, the idea, the concept behind it, is it good, but the fact that it's being programmed for our children to go through that, I didn't say that correctly, that it's for our youth to go through this program, I think is really good, because they need to stop and slow down and appreciate what is around them at times.
Thank you. And just to add to that too, the piece that I think everyone in this room can really appreciate is it's not just messaging to help people feel good about what's here, it's statistically valid messaging. And so we're going to quantify these numbers, and the Montana Institute is a non-biased third party who's able to bring in statisticians and really ensure that the data is clean and that what we are producing is statistically relevant for Lake County. And I think that's huge, powerful.
Thank you, and I appreciate the presentation. I did complete the survey myself, and it's very easy, so hopefully folks will engage that survey so we can get as much information as possible from community members. And Supervisor Owen.
I think that it's a way of life, that positive mindset and using positives rather than negatives. And I know through coaching with kids, we use that. It's not, you did this wrong. It's, let's do it like this. And I think that's just, it's an important way of life. And it would really, I think the more we kind of focus on that throughout all aspects, it's going to help with mental health as well.
Thank you. Do we have any members of the public that wish to comment on this presentation? Not seeing any in the room. Anyone online? No. Okay, I'll close public comment and bring it back to the board. Do you folks have any additional information to offer, or?
No, that's it. Just we really appreciate your time. We appreciate that we have such a strong partnership on this project from so many local agencies and community members. And like Samantha said, please take the survey. And if you have social media, we really encourage you to share it out so we can get as much feedback as possible. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and close this item and move on to our 6.9/1045 item, which is a public hearing, consideration of a resolution amending the master fee schedule for departmental services rendered by the county. And I have understanding there's a request to continue this item.
Yes,
Mr. Carter,
Chair.
do you want to weigh in on that? Or
Just continue it.
okay.
until-
Okay, so we have a request by administration to continue this item. Is there any questions from the board? Don't see any. I'll open it up to public comment. Anybody in the room that wants to comment on whether or not we consider a continuance? Not seeing any in the room. No hands in Zoom. Bring it back to the board. Do we have consensus, or do we need to take action to continue to May 12th?
Yes, and it would be for date and time certain.
Okay. So we're going to need a date and time certain at 9:45 on May 12th with action.
Move to continue the public hearing to May 12th at 9:45 a.m.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries 4-0. Next, I'm going to move on to, it is 11 a.m., our 6.10 item. It's an 11 a.m. item for a hearing. Consideration of request for a hearing before the Board of Supervisors for 15595 Graham Street in Middletown, APN number 024-45307. The property owner, estate of Arnold L. Thibodeau, and the requester is Shannon Thibodeau. We have our Community Development Director here. And do we have the requester here?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to need to do first is swear in any witnesses, anybody who's going to be providing information on this item. You'll need to stand, and that would include anybody online related to this.
All right. With your right hand raised, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, the record will show the witnesses have been sworn. And at this point, this type of hearing, we're going to start with the department.
Thank you. Mireya Turner, Community Development Director. Turning the microphone over to our Code Enforcement Manager, Marcus Beltramo, momentarily.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Good morning to the board. Marcus Beltramo, Manager, Code Enforcement Division, County of Lake. We're here for today to hear a request that was made for to come in front of the Board of Supervisors for 15595 Graham Street in Middletown. You all have the memo. You all have the photos associated with that memo. I believe that's all been incorporated on the record. That being said, we issued a notice of nuisance in order to abate for this property, the violations. If you look on the left side of the photo, you'll see an RV that's in a dismantled or wrecked state. That is a violation. Open and outdoor storage that is open to public view and creates, that's also in a disorderly manner. And also, that situation creates an unsightly appearance. Here's another photo from a different angle. As again, you can see on the left and the right side of the carport, storage, rubbish, stuff that's stored in open view and in a disorderly manner. And another picture of the same issues. That being said, we're just recommending that the board uphold our notice of nuisance in order to abate and community development rests.
Okay. Do we have any questions from board members before we move on to the?
I think I had
request?
one. Let me
Go ahead.
check on that. What number is it?
6.10.
6.10. Okay. When, let me see, our county, both streets. Oh, I just had a little bookkeeping matter, and that is the county had it listed as street, and on the maps it has it as roads. So if you want to make that little clarification.
So I actually checked this morning, and some of the systems it says street and some it says road. So.
I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, but on the maps it had roads. When did Shannon inherit this property? That was my only real question.
Well, she hasn't presented yet, so do you want to?
Oh, okay, I can wait, I can wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for community development?
Nope.
Okay. All right, then at this point, we will allow Ms. Thibodeau, am I pronouncing that correctly? You can come forward and present your request, your evidence on this item.
I don't really have any evidence, but I'll answer your question first because that's where it's all going to start.
Microphone.
Neighbors think I'm too loud. So my dad passed away in July of 2025. I was there cleaning up the property, cleaning up the house, trying to get rid of things, obviously. I couldn't find anybody directly related to the RV to take it. And when I had to leave, I went to Maine to bury him. And when I went to do that, it stayed in. Actually, it wasn't this bad. When I came back, I destroyed the RV because while I was gone the first time, there were people staying in my house. And I don't know who they were. So when I left the second time, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't having any squatters. And because I couldn't get anybody to haul off the RV, the only thing I could do was dismantle it. Kelseyville Salvage said that they would take the frame and the motor, but they couldn't take the chassis.
I'm sorry.
Is that better? Yeah. All right. I don't like hearing myself. Yeah, so that's the story of that.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other board members that have any further questions for the requester at this point? Not seeing any. Community development, do you have any further comments based on what the requester stated? Okay, all right. So that would conclude any evidence or testimony that you want to provide at this point?
Oh, the only other thing is that while I was gone, again, somebody's made it more difficult. Somebody actually has been in the yard moving things around, stealing things. It's still happening now that I'm back, but while I was gone, including the water, they put a pile of dirt that I can no longer access, and making the cleanup is going to be harder now. I don't know who did it. Nobody in the neighborhood seems to know anything. But it's going to take me a little bit more time now because of the situation.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Spatier?
Yeah, so a couple of questions. One is, did this come from a community complaint? Did this come from self-initiation?
This is a community complaint that was received.
Okay. And then, sorry, I want to kind of nitpick the word you said. You said disorderly. I don't see disorderly in our code, I believe, because everything, even if it's orderly, you're not supposed to have outside stuff laying around outside.
So I would look in article, I would look in the open outdoor storage article, and subsection A, I believe it says it has to be in an orderly manner.
Okay, well, that's very subjective, I guess, on as to what orderly manner looks like.
So-
to me, if you have debris laying around, you can call it orderly or disorderly. You have debris laying around, and that's what we don't want. And I'm not hearing anybody arguing that there's not rubbish or there's not things that need to be cleaned up. I don't know. I felt like saying that we just don't want things laying around. Like that's just not the appropriate way for it needs to be done in a shed. It needs to be done in a much better way, not just in sight for everybody to see. At this stage in time, you have submitted, if I'm correct, that you were going to do the cleanup yourself, and then she appealed, or we are just on the notice of violation portion?
So she was issued.
Are we about to do the abatement, or are we just doing a notice of violation?
So we've issued a notice of nuisance in order to abate and a notice of violation. She has appealed or contested those violations. So pending the outcome of the hearing here today will determine if we move forward with the abatement process.
Okay, it's simultaneous, but it will have time between today and when you do the abatement. Therefore, she has time to be able to continue to do the cleanup and clean it up where we're not doing the abatement for her, which would be a much more cost-effective way to do it. There's no specific timeline on that, but it's not going to happen next week. It's probably going to take multiple weeks to organize somebody to go out there and abate it. And so I just want to talk through it, that yes, today is to say, is there a nuisance or is there not a nuisance? There is, but that will give time between what we say today and when the abatement occurs, and hopefully you can get that cleaned up before that time so that it's on your terms to clean it up, not on our terms, which will probably be more expensive.
That's what I discussed with him, because I said, well, if I don't, I was afraid I was going to make it back here, but I made it back, and we had discussed, the county actually cleaning up, and he said, oh yeah, we can go in and clean it up, and we'll just, put another lien on the house. And I'm like, okay, but then there was things that I didn't want to go. And so when he said that they would remove everything and then I would have to pay to get it all back, I'm like, no, that's not gonna work. So I found a way to get back here. I'm still in a financial position. I still have no income. I'm still disabled. I still have challenges. I can't get out there every day and work for 8 hours a day to get it cleaned up. However, I've found a couple people that are willing to help me, that, it's still not gonna get done overnight. But it will get done, and it's a little more orderly now than it was back then. Things have kind of been sorted, but I'm about halfway done with the RV. I have to do it myself. I had to sell the tractor to save my life, so I'm left with my 2 hands and a couple hammers. So it's going to take time, but it's going to get done.
I just wanted to talk the process through because I don't want to slow it down, but I also want to make sure she's aware that she can still do things to stop us from forcing that abatement on her.
And just to kind of follow up on those thoughts, that's the preferred method. We prefer the property owner or an interested party to resolve it. If we could come to a time frame here today, we would honor that time frame and give you, if it was a reasonable amount of time you needed, that it could correct the issue. I don't think anything's imminent or pressing at this time.
Right.
If we could get something, if we could nail down a time frame today, we could give you to that time frame, and then if it's not in compliance at the time, then we could discuss moving forward. But when it comes to abatements, I try to exhaust every remedy and possibility before we actually do the abatement, because I understand the impact it has to us, our resources, and our abatement fund. So I want to give them every opportunity. So if she can give us some assurances and a timeline here today, I will gladly honor that, and I would gladly, I would actually prefer and appreciate if you would resolve the issue of your own.
Well, yeah, no, that's my preference too. One question though, are the fines already stacking up? I don't know what those fines are.
So the fines are stayed as of right now.
Okay.
Pending the outcome of here today, they would
Okay.
start to accrue.
Okay.
She did file a hardship waiver regarding the fines that which is under review. Finances seem to be an issue regarding getting this into compliance. Her ability to do it by herself is also a concern that needs to be taken into consideration. I want to believe she has every intent and to bring this into compliance. But those are just issues that may string this thing out and may be a hurdle.
Right. So, ma'am, what we're looking at in front of us indicates a 30-day time period. What do you think it would, can you tell us how long you think you would need
I
to
can't.
do
I have
this?
no control over the weather. I have no control over my body, and I have no control over the people that are going to be helping me. So I mean, I can't say specifically by next Tuesday it'll be done. All I can say is that I'm going to do my best to get it done as quickly as I can without getting ripped off, because I have money in that junk that I could sell to help me survive. So I'm not just going to have somebody come in and tear everything out and toss it, because there's stuff in there that I need to pull apart, that I could scrap, that I can sell. I need survival money also. So that was kind of the flip side. You know, my neighbor's still harassing me. I'm sure you all know who she is. You know, their fence has been down for 4 months, and, you know, they're coming in my yard and messing with things. So there's all kinds of challenges that are ahead of me. It's going to get done. Give me 30 days, and I will do my best to get it done in 30 days. The weather's getting warmer. That's going to help. But like I said, between the people that I have depend on for hauling the stuff off, and me having to tear it apart myself, my body, the weather, there's a lot of balls in the air that are making it
Understood.
more
And
challenging.
my question was like, is 30 days enough, or are you thinking it would be longer? Or that's what
don't-
I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of things that are beyond my control. You can go ahead and with 30 days, and if it's not done, then it's not done. But I can do my best to get it done in 30 days.
Supervisor Owen?
I would like to extend it to 45 days.
Okay.
And if it's okay, and to, you know, for those reasons that you have stated.
Okay.
And then at that point, you'll have quite a bit of it done, I would think. And it would reduce the cost of whatever is left if you need help. Like, for instance, if you cannot get the RV out of there and you're up against a wall,
Right.
you may have to pay the county to do that for you.
whatever's left, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would like to see it extended a little bit to give you some grace, if possible, if that's
I
if
would
that's
appreciate
workable.
that, because if it can get, you know, if you give me 45 and it's done in 30, even better, right? It's a
Yep,
win.
absolutely, absolutely. But in that way, with your situation, I would like to give you a little grace.
I appreciate that. That would be great.
Okay. Any other questions, Supervisor Sabatier?
I will be happy to support the supervisor in which this district is in. I just want to at least speak up and say, we can put it at 30 days. Code enforcement has discretion for potential extensions if they see enough of a progress that has been made. I think that what I'm seeing is not the community standard that I would like to have, and the shorter the time frame of this lasting, the better. The more fire we put under your seat to get it done. If you get close,
If
I'm
I could
certain.
use fire, it would get done real quick.
Let's not take that literal.
Just saying.
But I am certain that our code enforcement team sees what progress looks like, has a concept of what progress looks like,
Sure.
and that they have the discretion to say, thank you for all the effort you've made. Let's extend it a little further. I can see we're getting to where we all want to be.
Yeah.
And so the more we extend it 45 days, that gives you now the thought that you have 45 days. I don't want to not do that, but at the same time, I want to push for this is not the community standard I would like in my neighborhood, and I don't want it for other people's neighborhoods, and I want to make sure that we set certain time frames to set those expectations.
Did you? Yes, go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Quintovano.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to clarify or add to what Supervisor Sabati mentioned, I would say that the formal extensions under Chapter 13, Chapter 13 of the Lake County Code, to be granted by code enforcement, usually would apply prior to a hearing taking place, meaning after a notice of nuisance or notice to abate has been issued, notice of violation. There is some provisions there in our code that would allow code enforcement to grant extensions. But with this being before your board today, the recommended action by your staff is that does initially make reference to 30 days. That can be revised, of course, under the recommended action. should your board decide to uphold the notice of violation and notice of nuisance and order to abate. At times, whatever amount of days your board would grant for the property owner to voluntarily abate the nuisance, if it reaches that time period, there are practical matters that Supervisor Sabatier alluded to, by which code enforcement will then have to mobilize and then conduct the abatement once that period of time expires. But that's all part of your board's order. It wouldn't be based on some formal extensions that's provided under the Lake County Code, because that would only apply typically prior to a hearing being requested, prior to this hearing taking place, and after notice of nuisance in order to abate has been issued to the property owner or interested party.
Yes, thank you. And my understanding, like let's say we gave an order of 45 days, then that would be the time frame, but there's also that period of time after the 45 days that community development would have to organize and mobilize, which could be a period of a couple, 2-3 weeks potentially. It's not unlimited, but there is some limited reasonable time after that, to where if it took them 2 weeks to mobilize, she'd still
Have a month.
get another 2 weeks in that example, but they wouldn't have unlimited extensions and all that if we give this order.
If I could clarify also, yes, we do tend to work with the property owner prior to any board action. Once the board has taken action, we hold the property accountable and we move to enforce the board's action. So on day 45, we would be prepared should the board want to extend it to 45, whatever that deadline is, our team would be set up to go ahead and perform the abatement after the deadline expired.
Okay, understood. But sometimes things come up where there's still a reasonable time where it took another week or whatever. That's all I was mentioning.
Right. We consider most of our flexibility, as County Council said, to take place before there is any board action.
Right. Okay. Did you want to say something else, Mr. Beltran?
The logistical planning, the aligning of contractors, all that stuff could be taken up to will be in place by the 45-day mark. The warrant will be the outlying factor that will have to be resolved. So, because we'd have to determine the property still not in compliance on day 45, because that'll have to be part of the warrant to show that the property's still in violation. So however long it takes to get the warrant prepared, the judge assign it, that would be the additional time. And then contractor availability.
Okay, thank you. So we have discussion here about a 45-day. Did you want to say something?
I was just going to offer it. I would like to see us stay with the 45, especially since we don't have the flexibility really of extending it once it's came to the board. So since we don't have that accessibility to be able to extend it, I would like to leave it at the 45.
Yeah.
And to give you, because I understand that you've got physical issues and financial issues,
Yeah.
and you inherited this.
Right. There's still, I think 45 days I think it can be done in 45 days, given that the weather's hopefully going to get warmer and the rain's going to slow up.
Supposed to hit 80s this weekend.
That's what I need. That's what I've been waiting for.
90s. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was in 20.
Flirting with the 90s.
I was in 20 below watching the news. Oh, it's 80 degrees in sunny California. And I get here and it starts raining. So,
Yes.
yeah, a little bit of a challenge. But I think 45 days, I think it can get done. Like I said, it's going to be a slow process, but, as long as I
That'll give
don't
you a
have-
little extra time.
Yeah, that would be, but, I'm confident I can get it done the way that
Perfect.
I need to get it done.
Okay.
Good.
So,
I make that motion that we,
I need to open to the public.
I'm sorry.
Is there it's my understanding that both sides have presented everything. We've asked questions. So at this point, is there any public comment? This wouldn't be evidence, but this is the type of hearing where public comment can be made before we make a final decision. I'm not seeing any in the room, none online, so I'll bring it back to the board for action.
I move that we put it in place for 45 days for the cleanup before we take action. And I believe, Marcus, I saw some nods there that would work for you.
There's a little more to the recommended action. We request that the board uphold the notice of violation and notice of nuisance in order to abate, and direct the property owner to voluntarily abate the nuisance violations within 45 days. If it is not voluntarily abated, code enforcement shall abate the violations, and all associated costs of the abatement become a charge against the property and placed on the tax rolls as a special assessment.
Thank you.
Okay, so offered.
So that motion is offered.
Mhm.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second. I'll bring it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the presentation. Thank you. And good luck with that. CAO, do we want to take up 5.18 or you want me to keep moving forward? 5.18 was a pulled item.
Yes, please do.
What's that?
5.18, yes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call. I'm going to call our 5.18, which was a consent but was pulled. That's adopt a resolution declaring a local emergency due to a geotechnical instability causing roadway failure and embankment erosion on Socrates Mine Road and authorizing emergency contracting pursuant to Public Contract Code sections 22050 and 2395D. And we have our Public Works Director, Mr. Ewing, here, and I'll turn it over to you.
Shifting over here simply because I do have some pictures, because a picture's worth 1,000 words. In this case, I have 2 pictures, so there's 2,000. Lars Ewing, Public Works Director. I appreciate this being pulled from consent. The declaring of a local emergency certainly seems merited to be taken in open session. The summary of this is a couple of slides on Socrates Mine Road. Socrates Mine Road was I don't have the exact history of the road, but it has been a lot of slides over the years. Most of the slides that have occurred, based on a quick research I did, most of them are following declared disasters for storms, and that qualifies the repair for federal or state funding. That's not the case in a couple of these 2 specific locations. Johanna, I apologize, I didn't forewarn you about this, but see if we can pull these up. But there are 2 slides that are, in my opinion, as Public Works Director. Let's see the 2 pictures here. In fact, I can just grab that from. So there are three locations that are called out in the resolution. I included two photos. The first is the lower slide, so you can see we're looking essentially downhill. So thank you. How do I? Okay, where am I here? Green, thank you for walking me through this, and just the screen or that. Okay, thank you. Okay, so you're looking downhill on Socrates Mine Road. So this is the first photo. You can see the condition of the road. The second photo is probably certainly more extreme, and I'll probably need to screen share again. Okay. Stop share. All right. I'll just do it again. What did I do here? Get out of there. Okay, so this photo again, quite a bit more extreme. So you can see, both locations, the barricades are in place. It's a single lane traffic there, and so there's a significant need for it. Certainly, one of the concerns is going through standard contracting procedures, or a standard design, what we call a design bid build, is going to be pretty time intensive. And my concern is getting past yet another construction season and another storm season without getting a solution, without getting a repair. So the emergency declaration, among other things, would allow for essentially contracting that allows for design build. So we would be hiring a contractor that would come in and provide geotechnical solutions and then the construction for that. So happy to answer any questions from here.
Do we have any questions from board members? We'll go to Supervisor Owen first.
I just want to say thank you for getting on this. It's been getting worse, and it has progressed in the last year quite a bit. So I want to say thank you. This was something that really needed some attention, so I appreciate it.
Supervisor Sabatier.
Yeah. Is there a way to provide you, like, I would like to believe that the Board of Supervisors has the ability to breach its standard protocol and give you the emergency clearance to not have to go through the appropriate procurement process without having to declare an emergency. And I apologize. You and I had a conversation. I'm going to provide some things that I did not provide.
Sure.
That looks like Sulphur Bank Road.
Yeah.
But we're not declaring an emergency for Sulphur Bank Road. And it used to have two areas where there was only one lane because the other lane fell down through. I don't know what the level of comfort that the other lane's not going to fall through, but yet we're doing this for Socrates Mine Road. I know you're making a statement in there that it has some basically seismic issues are part of the issue that's happening there. I'm not too pleased to seeing that Calpine and NCPA have said they will not help when obviously they have some reason as to why they're doing that. I get it. They also provide some funding, and some of that funding is due to the seismic issues and the impacts, and you're saying that you're going to be accessing some of those mitigation funds. But I guess it's not that I don't want to ask why have we not declared an emergency for Sulphur Bank Road. My question is, how can we give you what you need? Because what you need is to skip a process that slows down the whole process. And I'm not sure that I want to declare an emergency, another one on the long list of things that we've had for way too long, when it's really just a bureaucratic thing, not necessarily anything more. And I guess I'm looking at admin, I'm looking at our county council. What can we do to expedite this process without having to necessarily declare an emergency? Where it's not that I don't see one, I see it in other places and it doesn't seem to happen, and yet I guess I'm confused as to what our right process is. I want to give you the tools to be able to make these things happen, and simultaneously I want to say, how can we use those same tools to fix what I've been asking, and I haven't asked you specifically, but I know in years past we've worked to fix Sulphur Bank Road. It crumbled again. And now we're still with one area that's a one-lane area, but we're not prioritizing that. And I feel I understand. I won't specify my assumption as to why I understand, but why does this lead to such a extreme situation where we have to declare an emergency? And how do we skip that but still provide you the tools?
Yeah, before I certainly defer to admin and county council, you mentioned one specific location, and there are some others that the difference there is the funding source. Funding source is for Sulphur Bank. Funding source for, give you another one, Morgan Valley Road, was during a disaster that qualified for federal highways funding or funding through Caltrans, which they have an additional layer of, to use the word you use, the bureaucratic process of their guidelines for the use of their funding. So there's no such thing as a free lunch. And when we have funding that provides for repair for those, my understanding, and I will dig into this further to see if there is a way to do what we're doing here and still receive funding from the feds and the state to repair. But there are limitations that as I understand it now, the limitations are the process that they require us to go through that does not allow for a design build, a single contractor. It does require a design bid build process. So in this case, not using, or I should say not having access to FHWA funding or Caltrans funding lightens the load a bit bureaucratically, but certainly it's a heavier load financially. So to come back to your point about Calpine and NCPA, still having discussions with them. The indication was just an inability, at least at the initial stage, to contribute. But we're continuing those discussions, and I appreciate their willingness to discuss. But I agree with you that we're looking for a way. I'm looking for a way as a public works director to solve some problems here. And in this case, without any external funding, this was an avenue to be able to do that.
And so, if I can follow up, the declaration of the emergency gives you access to those funds rather than finding a way to skip the procurement process?
The latter. In fact, I would. I haven't looked at the other two projects specifically, but they are likely. There was a declaration for those. I don't know the name of the storms that caused them, but we have access and have grants for both projects, Sulphur Bank and Morgan Valley, simply because that's another one that really reminds me of these slides. And we have grants through, I believe both are emergency relief grants through FHWA and funneled through Caltrans, and they would have been predicated upon the declaration of a disaster. So there was a declared disaster for those storms, not for those specific sites, but for those storms and the damage that those storms caused.
Okay, Supervisor Owen?
I had heard somewhere in my talks to check on possibly PG&E having some responsibility for that area as well. And I know that they were up there at one time, but I just wanted to throw that out there. The other thing that I would like to state is with this particular road, as well as Morgan Valley, it's one way in and one way out. Not that Sulphur Bank isn't important, it very much is. They all are. I know Morgan Valley we've been working on for quite some time. It's falling down the drink. But I think these two particular are one way in and one way out, and we have a great deal of work in the Socrates Mine Road area where we have many people traveling that road in and out around the clock.
Yeah, 2 points to that. I directly respond to one of the sites. I believe it's I know it is milepost marker 1.0 on Socrates Mine Road has a fiber optic cable. Actually, I'm sorry, it's under PG&E lines that may have some responsibility here, and so we're having discussions. We've initiated those with PG&E. To the rest of the point on consent, your board approved a couple of on-call agreements. One was for construction management, but the other was for civil engineering services. That process really, again, now we go back to the bureaucratic process that free money brings with it. We had to follow that a certain process in order to procure those consultants in line with the FHWA and Caltrans processes. And so now that we have those consultants under contract, one of the first items is geotechnical work for both Socrates Mine and for Morgan Valley and possibly Sulphur Bank. I have to look at that one, but there are steps that we have to take in order to ensure that we remain eligible for reimbursement.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate it again.
All right. Did you have something?
Yeah, I'm hoping we can maybe get an answer from admin or county council as far as, are we allowed to just say there's urgent need or emergent need without having to declare an emergency and provide our director of public works the tools to be able to move forward much more efficiently?
On an ongoing basis?
No.
No.
For this specific.
For this project, it is a standard exemption from our office's perspective, 38.21A, which is the board accepts the exemption, no resolution needed or declaration.
I just want to give him all the support he needs. What if-
Okay, so it sounds like what you're, go ahead, Mr. Guinavanto.
So just to add on Assistant CAO Carter's statements there, the resolution itself, one that's being offered to your board for adoption, cites Public Contract Code sections 22050 and 20395, both of which specifically reference an emergency situation, which then triggers, as Assistant CAO Parker mentioned, the Lake County Code, the purchasing ordinance of the Lake County Code for emergency purchases. It does state in 38.2, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 2-39, a competitive bidding is not required when the Board of Supervisors determines that competitive bidding will not be in the public's best interest because of the emergency purchase. So it's being submitted to your board in the form of a resolution. It would still need to be approved by your board in conjunction with the statutes cited as well as the provisions under our Lake County Code. But staff, moving forward for these types of future requests, staff can certainly look into ways or options to streamline the process such that either as road commissioner, the Director Ewing can maybe perhaps take it upon himself as road commissioner or public works director to process these contracts and manage these contracts, or in the alternative, present it to your board in a way, still go for board approval, but not certainly try to do his best to not go through the competitive bidding process, which would still take some time. That's really what staff at this point for this particular instance is relying on.
So put the word emergency in to shorten the time.
Correct.
So I apologize. I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be, but declaring an emergency opens up government powers for certain things. I don't think this is a necessary thing. I think what we do today is we just give direction, find a solution. We will approve the exemption that this is an emergency for this specific road and that we will not roadblock, pun intended, your next contract that you bring to us for doing all the work that's necessary to fix it. But here it still says resolution declaring a local emergency. I don't think there's a local emergency. What you need is the tools to be able to move forward, which is the exemption that this is urgent and that it needs to be done now, not go through the normal procurement process, which is part of the 38.2. And from what I understand, you said that's all you need.
Well, no, maybe a direct no was probably a little too premature there. But there's the local Lake County Code but we also need to consider the public contract code. And I am not looking at it here, but in the research that I did and the discussions with county council is that public contract code requires certain actions from the board to release some of the bureaucratic pressure, and that does require, I believe, based on my recollection of this, it does require the declaration of an emergency.
Yes.
That's so. There's the county code. County code is one issue, but the public contract code, I think, is really what's driving this.
And I agree, as I understood it, that would reduce the time of getting it done because we are not going to have to put it out for public bid.
Correct. Yes, we would be direct negotiating with a specialty contractor who does basic design build for slope stabilization.
Which does make it easier and faster.
All right, Supervisor Crandall had a question too I want to get to.
Well, it probably will fall in line with what you're saying. Is there something, I mean, I understand we've been talking about this, but is there a preemptive way we can get a list of the specific areas like this? That way we pass it once, it gives you that for the next, like the ones we're talking about, whether it be sulfur, whether it be the others in different areas, and get those done under 38.2, giving you that leverage and that, that direction you need. And that way, if it's a specific one, if it does come back, it can come back on consent, unless someone wants to pull it or something. I'm just trying to make sure we have a way to kind of just, like you said, streamline a solution for it. But
Go ahead, County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there is staff can certainly look into that issue. That will in part hinge on what information is currently available in Public Works in relation to other roads that may necessitate such an emergency work. And for further clarification for your board, I cited 20395 and 22050 of the Public Contract Code. They do, both of those reference emergencies, and I'll start with 20395 of the California Public Contract Code, where it says in any county that has appointed a road commissioner, which is Director Ewing, it goes on to say, the Board of Supervisors may authorize the road commissioner to have any work upon county highways done under their supervision and direction, and then it goes on down under sub D. That's where the exception applies under this Public Contract Code section by purchasing material that exceeds and services letting contracts in excess of $25,000. So you have that, which still needs to go through your board, and it cites an emergency, it makes specific reference to emergency work. Now you have California Public Contract Code 22050, which expressly requires a 4/5 vote of its governing body to repair or replace what is being termed as a public facility. Any directly related and immediate action required by, again, it references the emergency. So that also would need to go by your board. The vehicle being used for that is through this resolution. There may be some, and Director Ewing can perhaps speak to this. I may have covered it already as far as consequences or ramifications for on whether or not the vehicle that's being used, i.e., this resolution, should it not specifically refer a quote unquote local emergency or just a resolution providing for your board's approval of it. But your board would still need to approve it under these Public Contract Code section, as Director Ewing mentioned.
Supervisor Owen had her pin up.
Oh, no, I'm just going to present.
Go ahead,
when we get a
Supervisor
chance.
Sabatier.
And while possibly confusing, I like what I just heard, which is we don't have to declare an emergency. We just have to have a resolution that states that this is an emergency that we need to take quick action on, but not a declared emergency. And so it's slightly different, but yet meets the needs of our Public Works Director and does not, by declaring an emergency, we're tapping into certain state laws that allow us certain powers. Here, we're staying very local and providing the power that you need to be able to take care of the local.
And road commissioner.
Yes. Yes.
Right, but it does, it does state 22050 does use the term declare an emergency. So granted that, I can appreciate the looking for a solution without being overly bureaucratic, but when we're
declare.
Believe 22050 does. And if it doesn't, I think for this case, what I would suggest is that we proceed in this case with the declaration, and that we ensure that for future that we find out if we actually need a formal declaration, and I'd be happy to work with County Council on that.
For safety. Can we
Any
have
other questions?
open it up?
Okay, I'll go ahead and open it up to the public at this time. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to comment? State your name and you'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Tom Lasik, former interim Public Works Director. I thought this was a great conversation. I like a lot of what I hear, the question whether it's an emergency, not an emergency. One of the observations is that we do have a lot of roads that have been severely damaged by federally or state declared emergencies prior to Director Ewing's watch. And what Supervisor Crandall mentions, there are other roads, and Morgan Valley Road, Spring Valley's lost their bridge, and I'm sure that was a flood and probably declared. Is there a mechanism where we as the public can inform the director or the county of this type of damage so it could qualify? I don't know if there's a statute of limitations. My favorite road is Highland Springs Road. It was partially washed out in a big storm several years back, and I'm pretty sure that was during a declared flood by FEMA or by the state, and it hasn't been fully restored. It's less than 8 feet wide in one section. So those are, and it's an evacuation route, a secondary evacuation route. So I think we have an opportunity as a county, because the road department is so strapped for money, to be able, in the appropriate way, to release funds for roads that we've been trying to suffer by ourselves to try to fix, when there might be resources available to, from the state or from the federal government, to be released to help improve those situations and make things safer. So clearly that road needs to be repaired. Socrates, I keep calling it Socrates from Fast Times, or from
Bill and Ted.
Yeah, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Anyway, so it needs to be repaired. It needs to be done the right way. But I think there's also an opportunity to address these other roads like Sulphur Bank Mine and Morgan Valley and Spring Valley and others. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anybody online? Sterling? Go ahead and you'll have 3 minutes. State your name for the record.
Yes, my name is Sterling. So I have one question. If all the Public Works consent agenda is all for Socrates, so if you add it up, it's around, I think, 1.7 million. And then I appreciate you, Bruno, because we're pulling a state of emergency on something that was considered a state of emergency how many years ago. I understand it does open this up to go faster. You can just work with who you guys want, but also at this point, there's many roads that should have been pulled out with a state of emergency for many, many years, and it hasn't happened. And we're pulling state fund money, grant money. I know you guys say it's grant money, it's federal funded money, but in the long end, we all pay federal taxes, we all pay state taxes, and we all pay county taxes. So in the end, this is all tax-paying money. And we really need to make sure that these roads are taken care of. Like EJ said, maybe we can bundle it together. I do agree with that if this is the approach that we're going to take to start doing these. But not just Sulphur Bank and Morgan Valley or Socrates. Spring Valley is a major one. And I've brought this up numerous times. And I've actually talked to Lars on the phone and asked about Old Long Valley and our low water crossing. And what I was told is that Public Works is not responsible for maintaining that low water crossing. We're one way in and one way out. We have a major slide in front of the dam at Indian Valley Reservoir that, poses a threat to our community. We are hit with fires continuously in Spring Valley, one way in, one way out. So if we're going to be passing this, we need to pass this with, all these roads that actually do need to be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling. And Supervisor Sabatier, hang on, we still have more.
If your board would be willing to allow me to
go ahead.
Provide not a response, but there was reference to a bridge being washed out at Spring Valley. I'm not aware of that. There is a low water crossing that I believe still is and always has been a low water crossing. Public Works does provide the maintenance that we can on that low water crossing. Now is not the time of year to do it because it's flowing, and so when the time does allow, we have my understanding. We have done that maintenance and will continue to. And also it's also my understanding that the county's hazard mitigation plan includes consideration of that crossing as a part of its plan. So that I wanted to reference that as well.
Thank you. Supervisor Sabatier, do you want me to finish public comment? Okay, go ahead.
Elaine Brown. I'm just looking at from a different context for the board. Like if you had a 17-year-old up, I haven't seen Socrates, but I've seen Sulphur. So if you had a 17-year-old that was up at Sulphur and fell over the cliff, you're going to have an emergency and you're going to have angry mothers in here wondering why this hasn't been dealt with. So maybe if you look at it that context, we do have an emergency here. And just one other comment on influence and manipulation of boards. I would really like to see whoever's calling in to see who the actual picture is with the person talking, because it could be someone's cousin up there, having influence over a situation that knows about this. So it might be something you want to do when you want to show, everything. Thank you.
Thank you. And anybody else in the public? And there was nothing online else, right? So, excuse me, I'll close public comment, bring it back to the board, and we'll go to Supervisor Sabatier.
Well, on the last comment, we tried showing and we saw more than we wanted to see, so that's why we don't show. We learned from COVID that people with video tend to show things that we don't want to allow.
Public
on
comment's
video.
closed, so you won't be able to
And
speak.
so that is why we don't do that. As far as there was a mention of 1.7 million, that's for all of the work that the 30 miles of work that will be done around the county, where there's asphalt and chip seal that was purchased in today's consent. That has, I mean, I don't believe there's anything related to this because this is, we're waiting, you're waiting for us to give you the go-ahead to break through all the walls and barriers in front of you to be able to ascertain exactly what's needed and what the cost will be. So those two other ones were completely different. I would like, so again, I'd like to mention that there are very specific powers that are given to us when we declare an emergency. And I think that those should not be lightly taken. I would like to offer a suggestion, and Mr. Guintavano, please help me out, where we can change things such as a resolution, declare a resolution whereby due to geotechnical instability causing roadway failure and embankment erosion at 3 locations at Socrates Mine Road, and blah, 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 that the Lake County Board of Supervisors authorizes an emergency contracting pursuant to Public Contract Code sections, blah, 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 and change it. And when I say blah, 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 I apologize. It's the rest of it's in the attachment. It's available. Changing where it says that there is an emergency, such as where the last whereas the Director of Public Works has determined that immediate action is required and has recommended that the board agree that an emergency exists and authorizes emergency contracting in order to promptly stabilize. Like, there's very simple wording that can be changed to just say that we agree that this is urgent and that we provide you the tools to break on through. Now, from what I'm reading, the 22050 just says if we say that, we need a 4/5 vote, not we have to declare an emergency and then we have to say that. And so I just want to be corrected. I don't want, I have seen, we've never abused it, but the public questions it when we declare an emergency in the past, and we are allowed to do things by being able to bypass certain aspects of the law. And I think that we need to be careful in what it is that we continue to approve as a declared emergency rather than what is truly an emergency, what is the definition. And so I just think as long as you're getting the tools that you need, that's my goal. I don't want to stop you. I don't want to slow you down. And I'm hoping that we can just change a few words on here and still be able to approve this today because the substance is the same.
And could it also state that under the provisions of the county code, there is that authority? That's the question. Lloyd, or I'm sorry, Mr. Guintavano, do you have any response on that proposal?
So I do have some suggested language for your board's consideration under Supervisor Sabatier's proposal, if your board wishes to hear it.
Yes, please.
If I may just have a minute here.
Chair?
Yes.
Would it be possible to break for lunch? I know
Yeah.
that Supervisor
Oh, that's
Crandall
right.
and I do have a meeting that we have to join, and that would give staff time
Yeah.
to be able to reword it, and we can reconvene and finish this off.
Do I have consensus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to make sure that Lars is given the tools he needs to proceed
Yeah.
with whatever language we come up with, as long as he can proceed as necessary.
Okay, then we have consensus. I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting for our lunch break, and we'll come back at
And Mr. Chair, just
Yeah.
to clarify, may,
Go ahead.
this is trailing the matter.
trailing the matter.
5.80.
Yeah. We're not closing the matter, we're just closing the meeting for lunch. So that'll be the first item up when we come back.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to reopen our meeting. When we broke for lunch, we trailed item 610, but for the benefit of the public, I'll read that out again. What we're going to be taking back up is the Public hearing on consideration of a request. No, I'm sorry. Where am I at?
518.
Where we were at was 518, adopt a resolution declaring a local emergency due to geotechnical instability causing roadway failure and embankment erosion on Socrates Mine Road, and authorizing emergency contracting pursuant to Public Contract Code Sections 22050 and 2395 Sub D. And we'd had a lot of discussion, and I think where we're at is we're waiting to hear from Mr. Gintovano. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So in light of the discussion that took place prior to the trailing of this item, staff has prepared a few amendments to the proposed resolution that's before your board today under this item. When your board is ready to consider these, I'll be able to make note those amendments.
We're ready to hear that.
Okay, so the first one would be on the title itself, where the phrase under this title, initially stating resolution declaring a local emergency due to geotechnical instability, so on. Instead, that would be revised to state resolution of a local emergency due to geotechnical instability, and the rest of the resolution title would remain the same. Then on to the next amendment would be on the 9th recital, where the word declare would be replaced by the word find, so that under that phrase it would state by a 4/5 vote to find an emergency when repair and replacement of a public facility is necessary. Everything else in that recital would remain the same, except as revised. Then on the 11th recital, similarly, the word declare would be replaced by the word find, so that the phrase would read, and has recommended that the board find a local emergency and authorize emergency contracting. Rest of the remaining provisions under that recital would remain the same, except as revised. And then on section 1 under the now therefore be it resolved line, section 1, where it states, initially it states, the board hereby finds, determines, and declares that a local emergency exists, so on. That would be revised to state, the board hereby finds and determines that a local emergency exists at 3 locations, so on. And the rest of that provision would remain the same. With those amendments, your board may offer the resolution as amended.
Okay. For board questions or further concerns you want to offer?
I'll just offer it.
Okay. Okay.
I'd like to offer the motion as amended.
Be offered the
Resolution as amended.
Okay, the resolution's been offered.
Supervisor Owen.
Aye.
Supervisor Sabatier.
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall.
Yes.
And Supervisor Rasmussen.
Aye. And that carries 4-0. And now I'm going to move on to our 515 item that was earlier pulled from the consent agenda. And that item is approve the award of asphalt emulsion materials and application services for the 2026 chip seal project to Western Emulsion for $931,117.69, and authorize the Public Works Director to sign the purchase order. And we have our Public Works Director here. Do you want to give us an overview?
Absolutely. Yeah, Lars Ewing, Public Works Director, a very high-level overview. The Public Works Department put out a request for proposals back in April, and one proposal was received from Western Emulsion, and the prices are listed in there: $665 a ton for liquid asphalt emulsion and $445 a ton for fog seal. This work is, this product is necessary for the what we call the pavement preservation or chip seal project for 2026 that I plan actually as a part of the road work plan. I'll be coming to your board with a presentation on that in the next few weeks, likely June 2nd. But this is a follow-up from the presentation that was provided to your board last year for a 5-year road work plan. This was the 2026 planned work. It's about 30 miles of road, generally in the North Lakeport and Nice area, but it also includes work in various countywide service areas where the county has a responsibility. This is the final year of those CSAs, and the resurfacing is required there. So what we're buying is the application of oil, and it's just one portion of the chip seal process. So it's oil that would go down prior to the aggregate, and then also fog seal that would be placed after the application of the aggregate. For your board's benefit and the public's awareness as well, there's I guess I'll call it a sister item on consent that was approved, and that was for the purchase of aggregate for this. So those are with those acquisitions, then county staff would be doing the rest of the work. So happy to answer any questions from there.
Thank you. And Supervisor Owen.
What is the, have we seen a big cost increase per mile or per ton?
Not per ton. I don't have last year's prices, but these seem like they're in line. I mean,
Perfect.
certainly some increases, but nothing drastic.
Good. Awesome. Thank you.
Supervisor Sabatier.
I didn't take the time to look for the emulsion, but I know I did find the chip aggregate from last year. It was like $33.50 this year. It's like $35.50. Okay. It seemed to be in line with a normal, non-exaggerated increase.
Yeah, that's on the aggregate side. This one is for the emulsion, the oil.
I figured it'd probably be about the same since it's a product that you kind of need both.
True, but recognizing that the oil is oil based, and so certainly there's some fluctuations there that aren't strictly reliant on local quarries.
True.
Thank you. Any other supervisor questions at this point? Not seeing any, then I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the public. Do we have nobody in the room? Do we have anybody online, Johanna? No hands? So I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the award of asphalt emulsion material and application services for the 2026 chip seal project to Western Emulsion for $931,117.69, and authorize the Public Works Director to sign the purchase order.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ewing. And next, we're going to move on to our, just to clarify, we've finished all pulled and all timed items.
Correct.
And I'm going to move on to our non-timed items. We'll start with weekly reports. Who would like to start off? We'll go with Supervisor Crandall today.
All right, I'm going to report out on a couple things. We had our SuperMac meeting last week. It was Wednesday, and on the 29th, and we had staff there, Water Resources, Public Works, Sheriff Department was there, and Code Enforcement was there as well. And it was a really good event, really well attended, lots of good information, and I think we'll be looking at another one in the future, but it's just, it's things like that really help the constituents have the opportunity to know what's going on in the county. I know they come to the town halls in itself and want to know what's going on, but this also gives them that direct contact. So it was really good to see that, see the group, the SuperMac working together in a good way with the same issues, a lot of the same issues. There's still some issues that weren't brought there, but they don't overlap. For example, you have the levees in Upper Lake. That's not an issue in East Region Town Hall. They support them, but we're looking for common issues that they can all three kind of push on. It's not that it takes anything away from that, but it doesn't make sense for even like the Spring Valley Bridge. I know that it's important, but Upper Lake's not going to be like, well, if that makes sense. So, but it doesn't mean we still can't pound away at them or whatever. So, but just wanted to give that insight because a lot of people were like, well, this issue didn't get brought up and that issue didn't get brought up, and it's like, yeah, but that's your territory and that's where it gets hit when you go to your town hall, the local one. So just wanted to highlight that. Went to the fire department. That with Senator McGuire, we went to that where he spoke at Chair, and it was a really good event. I was able to make that and then go to the MMIW event. That was pretty good. It was a really good event. We ended up seeing quite a bit of folks. That's where I got this red shirt. I got a really cool farmer's hat, and they had dancing and food. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Oh, I went to CLOGBA, Clear Lake Oaks Glenhaven Business Association, where Donna Makowitz gave a good class on birds, the Audubon Society. It was really cool. I've been really intrigued by, because in my yard I have a mulberry tree with fruit on it, and all the birds come there from all around, and they fight, and they're loud, and they keep me awake all morning. But or all night too. But either way, it was really cool to learn about that from her. Talked about a numerous amount of different things. So that was good. The egrets and whatnot. Let's see. We were at that ranch for the flag raising. That was really good, and I appreciate Chair Rasmussen allowing me to read the plaque. That was really good event. I got to meet with different people there, go to the booths and whatnot, and see it was a really beautiful day too. So that was really good too. So this week, tomorrow, I got the East Region Town Hall and the CSA2 in Spring Valley. Thursday, I know I have something, but I'm gonna keep it open right now because it's on my list. I just can't think of what that is. Friday, I think we have a meeting for the paper parcels, and then Monday. I didn't get to Monday. I think I just have the meeting with ACAO Stephen Carter. I added him and Susan. Sorry. Yeah, so I have that meeting, and then I'll be back here Tuesday for the board meeting.
Thank you, Supervisor Crandall. We want to go.
Sure.
Looks like Supervisor Sabatier.
So a couple of things, some things that I've been working on with Supervisor Crandall as well. We had a meeting regarding Middle Creek restoration. You'll be hearing a presentation from our committee on May 19th to give you an update as to what's going on with the Middle Creek restoration, some of the advancements that we've made, some of the hurdles we still have in front of us. But right now, with all the changes that are happening at the federal government, we're trying to work through some of those changes because it's potentially, I'm not going to say delaying, but it's definitely concerning at what level of engagement right now the Army Corps has with us. They're still meeting with us, but they're not making progress on their end. So we had Congressman Thompson's office involved with us, and we're going to continue to, as well as some of our lobbyists as well, we're going to continue to push for that. There, on the other side, just want to at least put it out there. You may have heard that there is somebody who might be interested in purchasing the dam. As far as I'm concerned, we're all interested in any opportunity that is not the PG&E offer that has been put on into FERC right now at this moment. So just looking forward to further information and better understanding of what that all means. Then to our state level, I got an invite from CSAC. CSAC, there was a Senate bill. It was kind of a proclamation, I guess. The things you don't know until you know. Proclamations are Senate bills, and it was a proclamation highlighting CSAC and the years of service to providing the county perspective. I was invited by CSAC to be there on the Senate floor as we received that award or that presentation, and really glad I went because I was one of 3 supervisors that showed up. There was Susan Ellenberg, who's the current president from Santa Clara County. There was Luis Alejo, who seems to know everybody in Sacramento because he used to be an assembly member, from Monterey County. And then I was there. So there was kind of a representation of the rural, the suburban, and the urban. And I was there to represent the rural, which was great. So that was good. Let me see here. I think that pretty much covers everything for what I've done, what's going on next. I'm going to have my NACO Health Steering Committee meeting as we prepare for our July 20th conference, and that'll be in New Orleans. I have been in conversations about veteran housing. We're trying to finalize where exactly that will be, because we want to start moving forward with submitting an application to the state where they have Home Key Plus funding that would be available to us to do so. And so hopefully on Wednesday morning, we'll have that final conversation, and we'll see which way it goes. Then I have my COC meeting for those that are unsheltered on Thursday afternoon. I know that there was some stuff being passed around on social media. I just saw it again this morning on, actually this afternoon when I was scrolling through. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please join us. It's a public meeting. It's at 3 p.m. It's at Lake County Office of Education here in Lakeport every first Thursday of the month. And if you go to our website, lakecoc.org, you can find the agenda and you can find the Zoom or the Teams link in order to join us. Ask questions, find out what's really happening, find out why decisions are being made. What I'm seeing being passed around is mostly false, but again, mostly, not completely. And then just continue to have conversations. I'm having some conversations with Adventist Health. I'm going to continue those. And this Saturday, it looks like I'm going to get fed. I forgot. Aroma's Cafe at Woodland Community College is having pedal and pastries. Always good to go to that restaurant and enjoy and see what's going on. And that's pretty much it until come back on Monday and then board meeting on Tuesday. I'll stop there.
Thank you. Supervisor Owen?
Excuse me. Okay, last week, I don't remember, did we do calendars? I'll go ahead. Oh, I think we did,
don't
but.
think we did.
Okay. Last week, I had several constituent meetings, including the Bar X Ranch. They're looking to do something there. Had a meeting with the investors in that area. The week before was with the Diamond J Ranch. Those are both big ranches there in the Middletown area. I met and conversed with some Lower Lake constituents on, let's see, what day was it that we had Mike McGuire came into Lakeport to the fire station? 1st of May, okay. So that was the 1st of May, and that was a great event. I think most of everybody up here was there. So it was really good to see the monies and the grants coming into our county for fire trucks. And I know that we ended up with a new one for South Lake County. And I believe they're having the ladder truck here in Lakeport refurbished, which is amazing. I had also met, I believe it was that same day, with Bruce Robinson with the animal control. And Saturday I had overlapping, like 4 events. I made it to half of them. So I made it to 2 at 4. This week, tomorrow, I believe I have a meeting with Congressman Mike Thompson. May 7th, there's a event for Save Lake Pillsbury. It's in Redwood Valley with Assemblyman James Gallagher will be there speaking, and that's at 5:30. The tickets are online if anybody'd like to attend. I have some more constituent meetings on Friday already scheduled, and then I'll be working on our agenda for next week.
Thank you. Okay. Hopefully I'll go to City Council. I think we'll be done, and I know Supervisor Sabatier needs to be there too. Tomorrow morning, the Chamber Executive Committee asked me to come go to their meeting, talk to them about what they got going on with the Lake County Chamber. I'm also going to be guest speaker at Rotary Club tomorrow in Lakeport and talk about just what we have going on in the county this year, different projects and things. Then I'm going to go to a West Side Community Park meeting. They're working on development of a horse and trails park up on city wastewater property in the actual county jurisdiction off 175. I hope to be at COC meeting, but I also have jury duty tomorrow, so I don't know what's going to happen there. No, I'm sorry, jury duty on the 7th, so that's the day of the COC. We'll be doing a paper subs work group meeting with Supervisor Crandall on Friday in my capacity as First Five Commissioner, I'll be at the Early Childhood Educators event. I plan to go to the Mental Health Matters event on Saturday at the Museum Park here in Lakeport. I also plan to do the Chamber Mixer next Monday at Skylark. Working on some follow-up with Supervisor Sabati on health and service type budget questions early next week. Plan to go to the fire board meeting next week. And yeah, everybody mentioned the McGuire press release. That was great to see the $2 million for 3 different parts of the county to get new equipment. The MMIP was great. That about 2,000 people from what I heard there. And the ranch event was excellent with the kickoff of America 250. And then on Saturday, I went to a United Christian Parish event that also partners with Simple Gesture, and just want to mention that because the importance of our food banks continuing their work throughout the year, because as we know, budget's going to change with things being pushed back on the counties. We don't know the exact impact yet, but it's important to stay on top of that. And that will conclude my report and all of our reports for today. So thank you for the work everyone's doing. We have a lot going on. And with that, I'll move on to item 7.2, which is consideration of appointment to the Blue Ribbon Committee for the rehabilitation of Clear Lake. That came to me last week because our ag member, who is the Farm Bureau manager, I can't remember the exact title of Rebecca Harper, but she got a promotion with the California Farm Bureau, and her assistant is now taking over the Lake County Farm Bureau. And the request is to have her replace Rebecca on the Blue Ribbon, but that's got to be decided by this board under the formation documents that the state legislature created. There's several positions that are appointed by this board, and that's one of them. So made sense to bring this forward and keep the representative in the ag at that same point. And with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to the board. Go ahead.
So the Farm Bureau will not be opening up. They're going to hire her to fill that position, correct?
That's my understanding.
Then I don't
Yes.
have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I was told that she was assuming that had been decided by the Farm Bureau board.
Perfect.
So that's why I thought it made sense. Thank you for the question. Is there any other board member questions? Is there any, I'll open it to the public. Anybody in the room? Anybody online? No hands, so I'll bring it back to the board, and if somebody can handle that.
I'm trying to find it. Sorry.
Do you have it open, or?
Just to call out the closed session?
No.
No,
I'm
it's the-
waiting for a motion to make an appointment
Make the appointment of, and I just had it, but then I accidentally closed it.
with the. Farm Bureau.
7.2?
The Blue Ribbon appointment?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we need action.
Move to approve Serena Onate
That's what I was
to the Blue Ribbon Committee. I apologize.
So we have a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second?
Mm-hmm.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, that carries 4-0.
Apologize, that was messy on my part.
I couldn't find her name.
It's been a long day.
There it is.
Again,
She's from Lower Lake High School, so
yeah, Lake County resident. So we've concluded that item. Now I'm going to move to 7.3, which is consideration of the addition of a special meeting to the board's annual 2026 meeting calendar. And this is going to be handled by our administrative ACAO, Mr. Carter. Do you want to open this up?
Sure. Good afternoon, board. HR has already interviewed about 6 to 8 candidates between the two positions, and most likely I'm interviewing them this week. I'll probably recommend between 5 and 6 different candidates, which, to be honest, needs a special meeting date. The ones that have been listed there are available. I did talk with Supervisor Pyska, and the ones that work best for her would be Thursday, May 14th or May 15th. And I'll leave it at that for discussion on a possible date.
Board members have any, obviously, it sounds like it would need to be the week of the 14th or 15th to get 5 of us here.
Yeah, because on May 20th and May 21st, I think were the dates that were offered. Both Supervisor Pyska or Vice Chair Pyska and myself will be in Sacramento for a conference.
I
You said or 15th?
Yeah, which is Friday.
I thought it was 13th or 14th that were
She
offered.
can't do the 13th is why I said what she could make, not what I'm recommending.
So strike the 13th.
I can't do the 14th or 15th.
I could definitely do the 13th. I can try and figure out if I can rearrange on the
I can
14th.
do the 13th, actually, I'm sorry. I can do the 13th too, that's right. I can do the 13th.
That's going to put 2 of us off and probably a quorum issue at the APC.
No, I would only be available in the afternoon, but I think if it's 1 to 5 or 12 to 5, I think we can still make it work. But an all-day thing, no, I can't do an all-day no matter what. My upcoming week, I could barely see any blanks in my schedule.
The 13th is not, I guess I could move stuff around and handle the afternoon on the 13th, but Supervisor Pyska is not available.
No, she's not. She has a home hardening.
I can do either one.
And you said, Supervisor Crandall, 14th and 15th do not work. And I know there's things going on then.
Then technically we moved to the last week,
Last week in May?
right after the holiday.
I won't be here. I'm going to be in the mountains. So,
Sounds great.
yeah,
Let's do the interviews in the mountains.
yeah.
What time on the 15th?
What's that?
What time are we
Be
looking
9
at?
in the morning.
Let's see.
I know you,
Depends on how quickly we can get 5 or 6 interviews in.
so you're looking at 5.
Oh, I know we got something at 9. No, wait, no, I'm sorry. Let me look at this one.
Which Monday? The 18th?
I don't know why not.
I could do the 18th.
What about the 18th?
I didn't give
I think-
Supervisor Pyska that option, so let me text her.
We'd be gambling if she'd be here, but it's,
Her and I would need to be done by 3 because we have the risk reduction.
I would think we could get done by 3 if we started at 9. When do you two leave? That's the week of CSAC.
We don't leave until,
Wednesday, Thursday,
I mean, it starts Wednesday. I'm
Tuesday night?
Yeah, I'm leaving Wednesday morning. I'm not getting a hotel.
Well, Mondays I don't ever schedule much because it's planning day for board meetings. So. I'm open to the 18th, but
Can we? No, because she can't do the 13th.
yeah.
What does it mean she can't do the 13th? Like there's no time at all, or it's just a whole day? Because what if we split it?
That was just her response, but I do know that the event is from like 10 to 1 or somewhere. It's kind of in the middle of the day.
Yes, it makes it hard to.
I am getting a response from HR that we could do the director interviews first and then do the PHO interviews second, which would only have 3 or 4 on one day and 2 on the other.
I'm willing to do 2 to 5 or 1:30 to 5 on Wednesday the 13th.
I can work.
If she only has something from 10 to 1.
Oh, I know what she has. She's not going to be able to make the 13th, I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, if she did,
She
she
gone
wouldn't
all
be able to
week?
start till like.
Isn't she gone all week?
No. Good idea, though, Johanna.
I think that I think that we need to figure out how to make it happen the fastest
Yeah,
because
we got to get it done.
we can't lose out on potential candidates, especially if they're candidates that we think highly of. I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet. And I mean, it sucks that we're looking outside of our normal Tuesdays, but at the same time, can't be there. We can't stop something because we can't be there. So we got to figure it out. I don't know.
So can I check in with Supervisor Crandall? Did you say there was any time on the 15th?
Oh, yeah, I can do the morning if you started at
So
9, yeah.
what if we split and we did some on the morning of the 15th and then some on the 18th?
Okay, let's do it.
That would be a Friday and then a Monday.
Yeah, I can do that.
And I'm going to hazard a guess that Supervisor Pyska would be available because we're normally all doing our meetings for getting ready for the board.
It depends my Monday, but that Monday works.
Okay.
And early morning on Monday would be best.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So we could even start at 8 o'clock if we wanted to, or 8:30. So it sounds like that's a proposal, Friday morning, the 15th. First thing in the morning, and then the Monday with the other half of them. We have consensus, it looks like.
Yes.
Do you mean first thing in the morning, like 9 to noon?
Yeah. Or 8:30 if we can, just to give it a little, but
Okay, here,
just
one
my
of you guys
suggestion.
Want to start?
Yeah. Mr. Gintabano, did you have something, or?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to clarify, so only for purposes of agendizing this
Right.
and noticing it, and for captioning purposes, on May 15th, is it 9 a.m.? Will it start at 9 a.m. or 8:30 a.m.?
9, let's just go 9, I guess.
And then for May 18th,
Same thing.
9 a.m. Thank you.
And then we'll just try to make it within that 6-hour window with those two. All right, we just need consensus on, do we need action?
After public comment.
Yeah.
And just to cover all our bases, might as well have a motion
Okay.
for the specific dates and time. And
All right, then I think we've talked it through, so let's open it to the public. Nobody in the room? Anybody online? Go ahead, Supervisor.
So I know there's work being done on policies and procedures.
Correct.
Looking forward to that. If it's possible to look at adding powers of the chair and vice chair to be able to call for a special meeting without having to do this, so we can just work with our staff behind the scenes, because it's just a little awkward to have a open session conversation about not our schedules, but like it just, I don't know, seems messy. And I think that we can figure out in like a doodle poll, there's no Brown Act to a doodle poll. We can figure out when we meet, and the chair should be able to, and the vice chair, if the chair is not available, call for a special meeting. And if that's not already there, I forget if it is or if it isn't, but I don't believe there should be a need to have to bring these things back so we can hash it out like this publicly.
Thank you, that's been duly noted. There was no public comment, so we're going to go ahead and do a motion. Or do you have a question?
No, I just was trying to do my schedule and look further out, and I do have something on the Friday. I can skip it.
You can skip the Friday?
Yeah, it's actually, my granddaughter made state finals, and we were going to go down to that. So that's kind of a,
Wait, is that in the afternoon? or-
it's
it's all
for
day?
4 days. It's for 4
But it
days.
starts Friday morning?
No, it starts the 13th. We were going to go down and
Oh,
watch
so
her.
you may not be in town
No, yeah,
on the 15th.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But we do need to get this done, so I'll just reschedule. And,
You sure?
yeah, I'll just go down on the weekend.
Okay.
What time will we be doing this on Monday? Because I do have a couple of, actually, and it would stop at what time?
Noon
Noon?
is the projected.
We all have schedules. I
It's not
mean,
guaranteed.
even this coming week, I would just as soon get it done as soon as possible, in all honesty, if there's any way to do it. and I will reschedule stuff. This is the one thing that I can't really, I can skip it.
I just have a couple of appointments on Monday. I just realized on my personal calendar on Monday for sure. There's one at 10 and then one at 1. So I don't know if I can do that day. But I know I can do the 15th, and I would even push it as far as we needed to. I know I have something
Sorry.
that I need to be working on for the Bloody Island ceremony on the 15th, but I can preempt that work on the 14th.
And so how long could you push it on the 15th?
We're starting at 9.
Yeah.
I could push it to at least 3.
Okay. How does that set for you folks?
I'm fine on Monday.
Yeah. So everybody's
I had to turn it on to
fine
find.
on Monday. It sounds like where we're at is everybody's fine on Monday. Supervisor Crandall now says he can push from 9 to 3 on the 15th,
Yes, Friday.
on Friday the 15th, and we'll see how far we can get. So if we can have as many lined up as we can from 9 to 3 on Friday, and then that might put us at a shorter
Time on Monday.
time on Monday.
Yeah.
But you're not available Monday.
No, because I got something at 10 and then something at 1. Yeah.
Can we try to push all candidates on Friday?
I'll do it.
Okay. Then that sounds like where we are. So let's drop the Monday then and see what happens on Friday.
I can always be stricter on what candidates reach your board too.
Tighten up the timeline maybe on stuff and see what we can do. Okay. Is that okay, everybody? Not hearing anything against that, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead
So,
with the
for your
language.
board's consideration, it would be a motion to approve the addition of a special meeting date to the board's annual 2026 meeting calendar, and that date would be May 15, 9 a.m.
Correct. Do we have somebody so moved? I have a so moved. Do I have a
Second.
second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 4-0. And I believe that exhausts all of our open session. So I'm going to read off our closed session items. 8.1, Public Employee Evaluation, Title Community Development Director. 8.2, Conference with Labor Negotiator. Conference with Labor Negotiator A, Chief Negotiator Susan Parker, County Negotiators Jay Salone, Stephen Carter, Casey Moreno, Pam Samick, and Diana Rico, and Employee Organization Deputy County Council Association. And then item 8.3, Conference with Legal Counsel, Significant Exposure to Litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D 2, as well as sub E1, 3 potential cases. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to comment on any of those items before we move into close? Thank you. Have a good day. Thanks for attending. Anybody online? No? So I'm going to close that comment. We're going to adjourn the open session and move into our closed session items. Thank you.